Friends, if you're looking for real old school laughs, you're in for a treat because we've got them right here. Flip City Magazine. Remember MEAD magazine? Then it went woke? Well, don't worry. Flip City has no chance of going woke. That's right. 4 times a year, you'll get an actual printed magazine full of jokes, stories, comics, and more, all about today's pop culture, entertainment, and woke politics. Flip City takes terrible entertainment trends we love to hate with hilarious parodies of Lord of the Rings, Stranger Things, The Walking Dead, Star Trek, Hunters, and more. Trust me when I say there is nothing else like Flip City on the market. So subscribe today. It will be delivered in print, or you can even get it digitally if you're one of those wacky Zoomers. Either way, follow our link and sign up today, and if you put in midnight, you get an extra 10% off. Check out Flip City Magazine today. Greetings and welcome to Midnight's Edge After Dark. It is time to talk some shit. That's right. Yeah. Welcome to the program. I am Tom Connors. We have with us today Six. How are you doing?
Six.
She's eating. So she says,
I'm doing great. I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much for having me today. Midnight's Edge.
I don't fucking talk like that.
Okay.
I like turtles.
What are you having for lunch? We'll ask you when you get done eating. Let me know. We got CC Karaoke with us. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Still sitting by the lake. And tomorrow, I'm going to go to another lake. I'm just going to keep driving along the highway and seeing what I find. It's a good time.
Well, we're glad to have you here, and we're glad that you're still hanging out by the lake. Am I coming through loud and clear and all that business?
Yeah, you're sounding great.
We said I was quiet earlier, so okay, I just want to make sure. Also joining us, the one, the only Clobberin' Times with Jack Kirby on his image there. How you doing?
Hey, man. Tom, thanks for having me, buddy. Good to see you, CC, and the lovely, wonderful Six. Great to see you. And what a great chat we've got here
Look
tonight.
at all that Kirby crackle around him.
I live in the Kirby crackle, dude. It's once a month. Well, I do it all year round, but of course, it's Jack Kirby month, and I celebrate it
or once a
like
year,
no other. Yes, sir.
It's a good-looking picture.
It is. Jack is the king, and he must be crackled.
Well, when Six gets back, she can tell us what she's munching on. But let's say hello to the chat in the meantime. We've got D. Bud Martin. We've got RJ Godzilla 81. We have Action Com here. We got Elizabeth Young. We got Very Bad Habits. Do you have any good habits? Hopefully you have some very good habits.
Does anybody?
Balance out those very bad habits. We got Elizabeth Young here. We got Bucky Cat. We have Jason Fox. How you doing, Jason? We got Jay Price. Monkey Jeebus is here. Pete Den Cat. Let's see here. Who else we got? Shotgun Fringe. Mecha J's in the house. Welcome, everybody. Coach O'Dragon's here. Golf R35, if I'm saying that right. Shrap 3D, if I didn't say that already. Darcipio. SFX F13 14 Saber-Tooth Raptors here. That's a long one. Uncommon Senses here. I like that. We got David Glenn and so many more. Black Lives or Black Votes. There's an interesting one. Nick S. FKHC 2005 is here as well. And also joining us. That's right, kids. He finally came.
Oh. No.
All 32 flavors of Nick Weiser are here.
That's right. What's up, guys? Happy to be here. What's up, chat? What's up, Red Chiz? So what's going on?
Check
what's
your
going on
mic,
in
Nick.
Land?
I think you're coming through your cam mic. You sound like a tin can.
Do I?
Not, little tinny.
Little tinny. Tinny. I just look.
You're like you're talking into a box.
That's weird. I just checked right now. It's at the normal volume and it's on mic setting. Maybe I should slide out and slide in.
Or unplug your mic and plug it back in, then do that. Yeah. Maybe it's just me. It just sounds like you're on the wrong mic. It could be wrong. It sounded like that the other day. I don't know if your mic is flipped around the wrong way, maybe. I don't know. It sounds like you're talking from the far side of your mic.
I don't know why it's saying that.
I'm hearing more of your echo of your voice than your actual voice. It feels like.
I can get with the
echo,
backside, but it's smooth, man. Like,
it's yeah. I think I think you get what I'm saying. CC would know what I'm saying. I think you're right. You're coming through the right mic, but I think your mic might be spun around or something.
Oh,
that's better. Whatever you're doing.
Normal to me.
There we go.
Okay.
There you go.
Now you sound better. Okay, whatever you did, just leave it there.
Thanks for putting up with me, folks.
If you played with the balls, I don't know what you did, but it made it better. Sometimes you just got to cradle the balls.
Sometimes you guys got to diddle it the right way.
Diddle it the right way. So how you doing, Nick?
Doing good, man. Just got another rewatch End of Hard Target. Because, well, a certain Toxic Tuesday returns tonight. So I'm excited about that, and we're a few weeks away from episode 100, which I'm excited about that too.
Bad that wasn't this week. I think it'd be more poignant, but yeah, I won't give away what it is.
Yeah, sometimes it happens, but you know what? When it's episode 100, I think it's gonna be sweeter because the stigma will have worn off a little by then.
I hope so.
And I might have to straight up order pizza for it. Oh, I may have given it away.
You're just giving shit away. No, I done fucked up and didn't watch Hard Target yet. I have it.
What are you guys talking about? 100
episode 100
Toxic
of Toxic Tuesday.
No, I know that, but the movie you're talking that you're not mentioning.
Oh, dude, Van Damme.
Oh,
yeah.
Why would that be 100? Why would you want that to be 100?
Oh no,
no. I know what the 100th episode's gonna be.
Oh, okay.
We haven't announced yet what movie it's gonna be. Oh, it's gonna be.
Oh, trust me, it's gonna be gigantically huge. Seriously, like I say huge a lot, but this
Meg-sized
is
huge.
The hugest, like huge that ever huge.
I already know what it is now. Excellent.
House Atreides says, have you seen Nicolas Cage's new trailer, The Retirement Plan? It looks really good. I want to see this one. Yeah, I think I watched that one. It looks all right.
I need to see that. That sounds fun. I was just rewatching him in Kick-Ass a few nights ago. And man, the Cage magic, it never left me.
I'm a superhero.
Just tell me Nick Cage is in it. I'll watch it. I'll pay for it.
Well, he's
Big Daddy is one of the few times he's actually kind of acting. It's kind of weird.
Oh.
He has a different voice and stuff. He's kind of like, he used to act that way when he was younger. He'd find weird voices.
I have a voice.
But this is the first time in a while I've seen him playing something that wasn't just him being Nick Cage in something. I gotta watch that one again. It's coming out. We're getting it's the second one. It's getting a Steelbook 4K. That's right.
Ooh.
I like the first one better. Of course, most people do. That's one of those. If I remember right, I like the movie better than I like the comic, because the ending of the comic kind of sucks compared to the movie. But weren't they making that movie at the same time? The comic was coming out or something like that.
Yeah, I actually like the movie and don't like the comic. Never could stand.
Yeah, like the comic's okay, but like the movie seemed to do it better.
Look, before I got a chance to read much of the comic, and I wasn't going to go see the movie, got talked into it, so I went to see it. And then I saw a buddy of mine who read the comic who did not like the comic. He says this movie is G-rated compared to the stuff that's done in the comic, and he told me all the stuff we do in the comic as opposed to what happens in the movie. I'm like, you know what? I'm glad I never read it. I don't need a comic to be that vile.
That the ending is kind of a downer too, and some other shit. Comic from
it's so horrible the stuff they do to him in the comic.
And end up sending him images of her giving some dude a blowjob or some shit.
It was just weird.
Yeah, it's like, and it's all this. Yeah.
Well, that was during the peak era, because when that comic come out, I mean, Miller was competing with Garth Ennis, and it was basically a battle of the edgelords. With who can outgrow the other, because think about it, for every time there's something like that, you had Garth Ennis thinking, how can I get raunch here with the boys? And man, I still think the boys is the raunchiest of them all. I still think that one's the one.
I've seen this Clobby and Spider-Man pic all over Twitter today, and I don't know anything about it. I don't know if you've seen it or you know what's going on there, but
it's not Clobby.
That's not real, is it?
Okay, don't put the word Clobby ever near that pic again.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I don't know. You're right.
Holy shit!
I'm just like, I don't know if that's parody or if that's actually
no. It happened.
Okay.
It happened.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah. Are you done eating yet, Six? All right. Your Muslim uncle says, "Hail from Sweden, Tom. What's Andre's address?" I don't know. Somewhere in was it Aslo or whatever the hell you call it? I have no idea. He should get a P.O. box, though. He really should. I'll have to bug him about that. No, I really don't know what his address is, to be honest with you. If I showed up there, I'd be just calling him, like in Oslo or whatever, like, "Hey, come get me." I don't know where I'm at. I'm between a thing and a thing. That's all I know. Yeah, Oslo, that's it. Yeah.
Oslo, Norway.
Oslo. Tom, what are you doing in Norway? I don't know.
Come visit. Just hanging out with you.
I got to figure out how to get to Vegas later this year because Matt Kadish is getting married.
Oh.
Get my butt up. And we're supposed to be going out there at some point around the same time. So I wonder if we'll try and plan all that together. So stay tuned on that. Ooh. Or Asgard. He could live in Asgard. Ooh. That could very well be. But yeah, I don't know if you guys noticed this or not, but I had a tweet that has kind of been getting some attraction.
Ooh, do tell.
Mm.
And I posted this because Monkey Jeebus, who's in the chat, sent me a picture the other day. And then I happened to be in our Facebook group and I saw somebody else post the same picture. But not only that, they posted a few more images. And I was like, well, did you take these pictures? And he's like, yeah. And I said, where did you find this? And I think he told me it was Target. And they had the same interpretation that I and Monkey Jeebus did. And here, we're going to show you the image here as soon as I can figure out what the hell I'm doing. Because I don't X very well. But yeah, as you can see, something here looks a little off.
Oh, no.
What the?
Yeah, and these are the two. So this is the same image here that was sent to me by Monkey Jeebus. And this is also the one I got from the gentleman in my Facebook group that I'm not going to say the name in case he doesn't want to be doxxed or have turtle fans come after him like I've had the last few days. And then then there was
you mean fake fans. Let's be real. Tom.
Yeah, well, they're horrible. Anyway, like here's another angle. As you can see, the one that looks more like she does in the cartoon movie compared to this one.
I mean, if I was in charge of it and I didn't care about getting fired, I'd totally do that. I'd just accidentally manufacture it. Whole bunch of white April O'Neils.
I just asked how frequently were these made like this? Or was this just a one-off?
I was thinking the same thing, and I was like, well, maybe it was a mistake. But she's got lipstick on her. That really, really hits me as weird. And everything else is the same exact color. So it's not like there was a discoloration, throughout the rest of the mold or anything like that. And I know these parts come from different places. So that's another thing that's like they deliberately had to put white arms on the white figure with the white chest. Like, that's the thing. Like, it's not like just the head is off.
Yeah, that's true. And they got the purple sunglasses to go with the
and
lipstick.
Everything else is exactly the same. It's even painted lips. The speculation is that this one was meant possibly for the Chinese market or something like that, and it got mixed in with the other ones. But now I'm hearing people telling me that they've seen these at Targets and Walmart. So if you do, please send me the images either on X, DM them to me. My email address I'm going to put in the chat here. Send them there. If not, if worse comes to worse, if you're somebody who doesn't have X, I know a lot of people just aren't having enough X anymore in their lives.
So, if you're on Discord, you can send them to me and I can pass them on to Tom.
Six can pass them on to me. Exactly. Thank you so much, Six. And you're here. So what were you munching on?
Well, I'm vegan. What do you think I was eating?
Leaves off the tree?
Exactly.
Trees are a living thing.
A salad.
What kind of salad?
Lettuce. Green pepper.
Lettuce doesn't want to be eaten.
Cucumber. Carrots.
Have you ever heard the sound of a plant when it gets eaten? They actually
Don't
put a
be
microphone
stupid.
up to it.
It has
Don't be
a
stupid
crunch.
and like every other.
You
Hi,
hear
you're my
crunch.
The screams of the plants.
I like turtles.
I was kidding, Six. Get back here.
Had to start.
I
out
was
with-
kidding. You cannot. I'm joking. I didn't think they actually do that, do they?
I
No,
don't
they
know.
don't. They don't
Okay,
have a
might.
central nervous system. Anyway, moving on.
I mean, it's almost
Moving
like
on.
saying it's okay to eat fish because they don't have any feelings.
That's what they say, supposedly, but I don't know about that either. They seem pretty pissed when you pull them out of the water.
Angela, you must be
Right.
on the show. I don't always sound angry.
She's
But
okay.
welcome.
She's joking back too. She's one of the look. I'll give Six this much credit. I've known a few vegans and vegetarians in my life, and most of them try to force you into their lifestyle. She does not, and she can take a joke, unlike
yeah.
a lot of them. So
Yeah, Six is
Yep.
great.
but yeah, so back to this April O'Neil business. Again, I have no other information than what I'm saying here. But Yellow Flash Clownfish, a couple other people have done videos on this. So Vera Dark just did a video earlier today on it as well. So I'm kind of taken aback about all the people that are kind of running with this. But it was like, I just thought it was kind of funny. I thought it was kind of a one and done thing. We wouldn't see another one, but people are telling me. So if you are getting these, please send them to me. And if you can, send us something else in the picture to kind of show us that, you know, it's a real picture. Because there are people who are already accusing us of photoshopping this.
Oh,
Yeah, and that it's a different picture.
To be fair, in the day and age of the internet, with everyone wanting whatever they want to be true and editing photos, I mean, I can't blame people for wondering if it's fake. We've seen so many things that look as real. I still
Right.
get fooled to this day on.
Oh yeah. So I mean, again, and I looked at this endlessly until I even talked to the individual who took the image, because I didn't even know who took it originally, because Monkey sent it to me, and Monkey says he'll let me know as soon as he finds one too. So it's going around in the toy groups is where he found it, and like I said, I just so happens that the individual who took the image is in our Facebook group, and he sent me the other two images here, or gave them to me, whatever you want to call it. And so yeah, he's like, yeah, I saw it in a story. He's like, I just thought it was kind of funky. Didn't really think too much of it other than that.
Yeah, and
If
Monkey
you're really
Monkey
set
Doodle
on-
does a lot of toy shopping, I believe. So
Yes, he does.
he's on the hunt.
If
Monkey
you're really
buys
set on
toys.
representation, then have different variations is great for collectors too. I mean, aside from however the movie is, whether it's good or not, just make 5 or 6 or 10 different variations for all it matters.
I don't
the
really care,
collectors
but the
get
point I
excited
see
about
is
it
the
and something
hypocrisy of it all. Because if this is
Oh,
true
yeah.
and it was something that because it hasn't come out yet, as far as I know, in China. So if like this movie comes out in China and she's got lightened skin in the movie too, I'll totally call them to task for that shit.
It's possible, yeah. No.
That's
Probably
why people
does.
don't understand the whole Splinter Gay thing. Is like if they actually listen to what we're saying, it's like I don't give a shit. It's the fact that they're trying to cover it up, and like people are like,
I'd love to
acting like,
know, man.
yeah, they're acting like, oh, how can you? It's like, how can you believe that they just made a little mistake like that? Fuck that. I can believe that they tried to make him gay, got cold feet, and just forgot to clean up the mess, or didn't catch everything to clean up the mess. It was too late, or whatever. You know, it was already out there in the ethos. You know, however you want to put it, or whatever. But like, anyway, point being, this thing is kind of odd. I'm not gonna keep it up for too much longer. We're not gonna keep going on about it. It's just a stupid fucking thing as far as I thought, but it's just kind of taken off. So I thought I'd bring it up myself. I might as well do my own version of the story since everybody else is doing it. Oh, we got Price of Reason in the chat too. How you doing, Price of Reason?
Hey.
Both speaking of the Splinter is gay thing, you know, like that's what he is saying too. He never went out of his way to like try and make out like this nefarious thing. We're just going through the variable possibilities that, you know, what had happened in this situation. But
I think you're right. It looks like someone made a decision.
Even if they decide to make him all the white skin going forward,
Ether?
it
Is that what I
still
mean?
looks awful. It still looks awful. The hair, the hair thing is absolutely not April's style at all. Yeah, she had a perm for one issue. I know there's gonna be that guy, but the perm.
It
Yeah,
was the
guess what?
80s.
Everyone in the 80s had
Or
a
the
perm.
90s, yeah.
every woman in the 80s had a perm. Did you
And-
see the
and
picture I
Michael
posted to
Douglas
that?
Michael Douglas had a perm in Black Rain. Everyone
Did
had a
you?
perm.
Did you guys see the picture that I posted to that though?
No, I didn't.
Oh, here, I'll see if I
had
still
to
got it
see
on my
that.
computer.
But point being is, and then she's got the butterball pudginess to her, like, and they're making it all about April too. Yeah, this is not April O'Neil.
No.
And this is not sorry, this is not a sorry, not sorry. This is just I'm not sorry at all. Fuck that shit.
Let me see if I got this here still. It might have been either it might have been on my other computer or on my phone too. I'll have to go find it on Facebook or X otherwise. Here it is. Oh, I got it still. Yeah. Because they're like, she's got a perm. She has to be black or she must be black. And my response to that, I didn't say shit. I just posted this picture.
Well, don't forget too. They also had Baxter Stockman. Oh yeah, a lot of people also tend to ignore.
And I mean, every fucking woman had a perm in the 80s. And not only that, most men did too.
Yeah. And if they really want to make her black, she would look a lot more like Baxter Stockman, who was actually in those comics, and you can tell was black and actually was always black.
And newsflash, the reason most people did that is because of the disco era. Yes, we were infatuated with black people way back when, guys. It's not like it's a new thing. Like, that's what I love about this whole thing about, oh, we were so racist. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Everybody wanted to be black back.
In order to be so racist, why was rap the biggest genre of music for like, what, 20 years?
Michael Jackson was the biggest star of the 80s, along with like Whitney Houston and shit like that. Like, what the fuck? Come on, give me a break. Will Smith right after Eddie Murphy, biggest star of the 90s. Yeah, Eddie Murphy, biggest star of the 80s.
He was huge, yeah. I mean, and let's not forget all the great sports players. MJ.
Well, I brought that up time and time again, where sports and barriers were broke down way before anything else. Yeah. But anyway, like, I don't give a shit. In fact, I don't care so much about race swap. And I did a proof of concept story I wanted to do for a series of Ninja Turtle show, just called Ninja Turtles, because it was going to be about the turtles after they'd grown up. And I actually race swapped Casey Jones in it way back when.
Oh,
all right.
I just did it because I was like, okay, let's add some color to this or whatever. I was just like, okay, let's see, because, like you said, a lot of sports, most time there's a lot of black people in this sports. I was just like, okay, let's just do it. And I did it. I didn't do it for any other reason than that. It was just, I wanted to just change it up a little bit. Didn't really change the character. He just happens to be black. That's all.
Character's cool. That's all that really ever matters. If the character's not.
But that was way before all this gender race swapping shit was going on too. Right? Like, I mean, and it looks horrible. It's a very horrible animation. I'm not going to tell anybody where it's at because I don't want y'all seeing it. But
I'll find it.
You will.
I just looked up that 6-pack of Mutant Mayhem toys, and supposedly, according to the internet, it's in stock at my Target.
Ooh, go look.
So I might
Dude, at the local Walmart by me, they are loaded with Mutant Mayhem toys, but yet the spots, there's a lot less of the 1987 ones. Like, I don't know if that's a sign that they over-ordered on the Mutant Mayhem, or if they're just selling way more currently of the 80s reissues of everything. I don't know which one it is, but I did see that they had more of the pizza tossers, and they got more of the storage shells. I gotta go back and give me some of the storage shells. They had a metalhead. I need that metalhead.
Oh, I love Metalhead.
Great character. I like turtles too.
I like turtles.
I like turtles.
I have nothing against turtles.
Oh, look at that.
Much like Gamma are the best.
I did a whole half-hour thing. That's a cry.
When did you do this?
That looks
Years
good.
ago. Years ago.
Cool, man.
Ooh.
I like it.
Ooh, yeah.
It's good.
You'll learn later, dude.
Yeah. I just can't do it, Raph. I can't live here. All I can think about is Splinter.
Why did you summon me here? But I thought you might be interested to know that I received a strange message the other day.
I almost didn't come. Yeah, it's dumb.
Very cool.
I like
Very
that last
nicely
scene.
done.
It's good.
Well,
Excellent,
the whole
man.
thing is it picks up years later, like Shredder and Splinter are gone. So like, and the turtles are older. And basically both Donatello and Krang have gotten like a weird message from Dimension X. And they both think that Shredder and maybe Splinter are still alive in Dimension X. So that's kind of the whole thing that sets it all up. So it's like both sides, and basically Leo and Karai are going to work together to try and get him back. But
It's a solid story.
Yes.
spoilers, Splinter's dead.
Dang.
Shredder killed him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was he gay?
No, he was very ungay.
Okay. Just asking.
But I hadn't decided if I was going to go with the whole Karai is actually Hamato Yoshi's daughter kidnapped by Splinter thing or not. Or I mean Shredder thing or not, but yeah. I know that was kind of a thing that came later in the comics, but
Wow.
and Mikey's, and it was weird because like I kind of also took, it was kind of like you could basically watch it and have seen whatever version of the Turtles before that and it should work. It was a little bit closer to the movies, but like I also had the thing in there where like Mikey was going out doing the superhero thing like he always does, but now it's a little bit more vicious. And it was weird because this was way before Last Ronin, and you could kind of see where this could lead to the Last Ronin. That's the weird thing. Because like Mikey's getting like edgier and edgier. Like that's the whole thing in this. He's like going out at night and kicking the fuck out of people and stuff. But like, yeah.
Maybe.
There's this whole scene in there. That's where you saw that scene where he's cracking the dude with the nunchucks. Yeah. I don't want people to watch it. It's bad. It's bad. No Galians, but there might be.
Okay, I just put the link in the chat. So
you jerk.
There we go. Yeah, it's a preview. It's not the whole story.
I got the whole show on there though. It's all 20 some minutes of it's on there.
Ooh. I look forward to watching it.
21 minutes and 25 seconds is how long.
I'll be right back. I have to go clip Tom calling me a jerk.
Oh. She's gonna do it too. And she's gonna bring it up all the time.
I need to make a montage.
Yes.
6 years ago is when I did this. That's the answer to those who want to know. 6 years ago. There you go. There you go. 6 fucking years ago.
Wow.
It's horrible.
The animation is solid enough now.
Not really.
I don't expect it to be a movie
It's not
theater.
working.
You know,
I gotta go. Leaving us isn't going to change anything, though, Leo. Damn it.
Anyway.
I can hear you saying that. Oh, the talk.
Yeah, basically Leo's just my regular voice.
That's a great regular voice.
Anyway.
Basically, Leo is you.
Oh, we got Brian here. How you
Hey
doing?
guys. How you
Oh,
doing?
look at that. It's
Hello.
that 70s rock
I just
band.
finished watching Hard Target for tonight.
Oh, huge.
Well, not for the first time, obviously, but the first time this week.
Still huge.
Huge. Yeah, the return of Toxic Tuesday will be huge. Absolutely. So
I missed this show so much.
I missed it so much too. I missed my participation in it the most.
I do too. I agree. I missed the show's existence second, but that's some of these rock band contributions first.
It's just one of these. I mean, I know we're sorry to divert the topic.
No,
It's
holy
just,
crap.
Just one of those funny. No, go ahead with this. This is important. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Wow.
Read this.
Hope Log said in 50 smackaroo.
You like muffled there.
Something wrong with your mic. I'll do it for you if you want. Okay.
Funny how there are people talking about the Get Along Gang franchise. I remember that show. Criticizing that it enforces group always right, complainer always wrong. Yet I'm pretty sure most people today who criticize that subconsciously follow that sort of mantra. You are 100% correct. Correct. You're 100% right. In fact, I think a lot of these people are going to get scared because they are the ones that canceled individuals like Carolyn and Gina Carano and others. And this whole thing, if Elon's telling the fucking truth,
Oh, I hope it blows up.
which
She's
Kara,
gonna be
I
a lot
guess,
of fun.
has talked to Elon again. I can't say much else other than that. She's supposed to tell us more when she knows more. Yeah, so
Very interesting.
yes, you're right. The groupthink thing, but Get Along Gang, God, I remember they were everywhere for about 10 minutes. Like you couldn't get away from them.
I'll play
Go
the
ahead,
other
Stacey.
side of this, though. If I was an employer, I would probably find any other reason to fire somebody. In fact, I'd probably make employees sign a contract ahead of time that says, I'm allowed to fire you for any reason I want, and it doesn't matter, and you have to
Well, in
sign here
most
if you want
states
to be,
that
you
is
know.
the case. I mean, but
Yeah.
I mean, I see where this is kind of a situation where it's like, if you were fired not for any real specific reason for your job performance, but because you liked a fucking tweet, right? Like Carolyn is the grand example of that. Like, I can't think of a better example because she was deliberately fired because of a cancel campaign put on by this idiot who scoured through her fucking tweets to find something, anything to kind of hang on her that made her look remotely outside of the right think,
Wow.
and canceled her.
Just shows how low we've fallen as a civilization.
Oh, indeed.
Yeah.
Well, the pendulum always swings. That's the thing.
The thing is, if you look through those people's tweets, it's hard to find anything worth reading. The ones that are doing the cancelling, there's nothing worth reading. Yeah,
There's
if
that
you
too.
search, you can search them as hard as you like. You won't find anything worth reading.
But thank you so much, Truth,
Yep.
Hope, Love. But on the Get Along Gang, does anybody else remember them? I remember the theme song.
Vaguely.
I do
fell out
not.
with them. I fell out with them.
Get along, gang, get along, gang. Each one is special in his own way. Montgomery's a leader and he's such a good sport. Get along, gang, get along, gang. I don't know why I remember that, but I
Sing
do.
it, Tom. Sing it.
It was catchy. It came out when I was real little. It was a Saturday morning cartoon. And they were everywhere. Shirt Tails was another one that was everywhere. And then it just disappeared.
I have no
Never to be
idea what
spoke
these
of
are.
again.
No idea what these shows are. So.
Okay, well, here's the Get
my
Along
favorite
Gang. I'll find a
forgotten
picture.
show. My favorite forgotten show growing up, Bonkers the Bobcat.
Bonkers.
I remember
Watch that
Bonkers.
one.
Now Bonkers wasn't he? Yeah, he was kind of like the. Wasn't that the one that was? Was that the one that was the replacement for Roger Rabbit, or was that a different one I'm thinking of?
The only cat I recall is Top Cat. That's
Top Cat. I love Top Cat.
Yeah, I love that.
That was a
Get
great
Along Gang.
cartoon.
I've never heard of this. It's like sort of an even wetter version of the Care Bears.
A wet version?
It's pre-Care Bears. It's pre-Care Bears.
Is it? All right.
If I remember right, or it's very close to the same time period, but yeah. And then you had Shirt Tails as well. Which, like, these were weird because, like, their whole thing was they're basically like the Get Along Gang, but their whole thing was their shirts, and they all had like the tags were the big deal for some reason. I don't know. It was kind of like pre-Beanie Baby shit.
You've opened up an entire avenue of cultural exploration that I'm not going to follow.
Early 80s animation that you'll never even think of again after today.
Yeah, but hey, I mean,
but McDonald's and all those places would have like the plushies. But we got some super chats. Let's see what you guys are talking about. Besides that, thank you, Truth, Hope, Love. Angela Richter says, "Pump the brakes, kids." That was all before 2008 when racism come roaring back. That's right. We forgot when racism came roaring back. Nikki D says, "Who would win in a fight, Gremlins or Ewoks?" This is a good question. I would normally say Gremlins. But Gremlins don't eat people like Ewoks do.
They might make an exception, please. I hope they do. And I'm going to be pulling for the Gremlins all the way.
I think the Gremlins might have the edge, though.
Yeah.
6, you're a Star Wars fan. What do you think? Gremlins or Ewoks? Who wins?
I think the Shirt Tails would win.
The Shark Tails?
The Shirt Tails would win.
Oh, I thought you said Shark Tails.
The Shark Tails would definitely win. That's for sure.
Sorry,
Shirt
what?
Tails would win.
Who would win in a fight, Gremlins or Ewoks?
What time of day is it? And is
Oh!
it a sunny day?
That's a good point. I didn't even think of that.
Who thinks of these things logically like 6?
We do.
Visceral reaction is what you should have.
I got to go with Ewoks. My money's always going to be on.
I know. I was like, kind of like, you never know, because Gremlins, they'll kill somebody, but I've never seen them eat a person. Ewoks will straight up eat a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like they were getting Han Solo and all those guys ready to eat.
Well, then they should.
Yeah, but why did they take his clothes off?
Why don't they just team up?
They was gonna burn up in the fire.
They could team up. The Gremlins do the killing. The Ewoks do the eating. Perfect. The perfect hit squad.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is Gremlins did eat people in the original script. I've told this story a couple times, so I'll keep it to just this part of it. But yeah, the original script was much more R-rated and vicious. In fact, there's one of the funnier scenes in the original script that is not in the movie is you hear one of the reports in the background. It says, in the script, it says the Gremlins had taken over McDonald's and they had eaten the people but left the hamburgers untouched.
Which is interesting when you consider all those stories that McDonald's do have people in their burgers, but
Yeah, well, I think the whole point of the joke was they couldn't be bothered with the nasty fucking burgers, but they ate all the people.
Maybe they just like their meat raw. I mean,
give it to me raw. Yeah, I think that's a tough one. Good question. That might be one of those immovable objects meets what is it? Some kind of force, unstoppable force kind of thing.
Put money on the Gremlins.
You're gonna put money on the Gremlins? All right.
Yeah, for sure.
Clobby or Nick, anything?
I'm not as polarized as other on the Ewoks, but the Gremlins just seem like they could be some really scrappy fighters.
They take care of business.
Some Gremlins can fly, and some,
Yeah, especially if they take in the chemicals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Truth, Hope, Love says, "Wow, was not expecting to sing that." Well, you gave me $50. I had to do something.
Yeah.
Joe Pat 87 says, "Beer snob here speaking. AB just sold a bunch of craft beer brands today, including one from my hometown.
They did, and they sold them to a Canadian smoke company.
I spent a little bit of time in Alberta, and the beer selection is so spectacular. I came back to BC, and I'm like, oh no. It's just awful here.
I
got used to better times.
I get Joe Pat's position because I'm a bit of a snob when I have beer as well. But this is a good thing because that means Anheuser sells off assets, and then what's left of Anheuser just sits there, collects dust even more so. And on top of it, we don't need them. Not even because of everything that's happened this year with them, but there's just so many better options. And the best part is, those better options are more than likely in almost every person in the chat, almost every one of you. There's better options in your local neighborhood. Vastly superior.
It's true. You should support your local breweries.
Yeah, they deserve it far more than this company does. Far more. And it tastes better. Yeah, some places will cost a little more, but you know what? I'd rather spend more money for better quality. So
It's not just the craft. It's the quality of the water. I mean, Budweiser uses piss water. That's why it tastes like piss. You get a brand that uses great water and knows what it's doing.
They probably have hungover dudes pee in them. For real. They probably do.
Well, they're supposed to be looking at that's the thing is a lot of these beverage companies, they are supposed to be paying attention to the pH balance and all that kind of shit of the waters that they use because they're supposed to, because that's kind of the whole point. You guys are bringing up a point. Like to where even restaurants, like I went to this restaurant in Vegas that claimed to have authentic New York pizza. And I happened to know somebody from there who had authentic New York pizza. And I asked them, well, how does it taste? And they said, good. And we were talking to the waiter about it. It's because they actually mess with the pH balance in the water there. So it is the same pH balance that it is up in New York. So it tastes the same. Like that's a big point of it. Like people don't even think of those little things. Right. Like you think about like if you're ever traveling, take a glass of water from what, compared to what it tastes like where you drink at home, and think about that. And, 50 other states and how many different territories in each state that has different tasting water. Like it all changes the pH balance, what's in the water. If people add shit to the water,
there's a lot of stuff just put in water, man.
Well, yes, you'd be surprised. And in most cases in your city, your water's barely in the legal limits to drink. Like I think I live in one of those areas where like I'll sit there I have 2 toilets in my home, so if you don't use one of them for a while, like this black film will start to form around the bowl. And I asked my landlord about it, And he said, "Oh yeah, it's from they were doing something one time, and ever since then the water has been just like there's this crud in it."
I think you'd get a real fright if you actually read up on what may or may not be in our public water supplies.
Right. Well, this is why I think bottled water, is off the charts as far as sales. But I try to make sure I buy stuff that isn't even the, reprocessed shit. I try to get stuff that's straight out the out of
because of decades of things like
spring
birth. No, this is not political, but birth control pills and various other things. There's all those hormones have been going in the water supply. Not just that, but many fluoride. I mean, I'm not going to get into the whole fluoride debate, but it's in the water. Yeah, all cleaning materials, just decades of cleaning materials. So, it's turning the freaking frogs gay. It's turning the frogs gay.
My health improved dramatically when I went on to reverse osmosis water as just a habit. Instead, just go to an actual place that produces it and sells it straight, not out of any pipes and everything.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to be the name of the next in the next Turtles movie. That'll be the new Turtle, reverse osmosis.
Oh, that's good.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm no fanatic about these things. I just, it's pretty good tap water here, but it's you never know.
We got a couple more super chats here. I'm not skipping yours, Walt, man. I'm going to come back around to it because actually we're going to talk about that topic. So I'm saving it for last here. Alpha Cipher. Sorry. I don't know where I got the D from. Alpha Cipher 9 says, woke staff at customer location checked my socials. Customer threatened to end my deal over my articles. Wow.
Such
Lost
totality.
a year of YouTube, starting fresh now, and new account on all social media. So what the fuck?
So authoritarian.
Social credit score.
Oh man, reach out. Yeah, post something and tag Elon in it if you haven't already, man.
The Stasi would be proud of them.
Yeah, Truth Hope Love also sends another 10. Thank you so much. Said, who'd win? TMNT Gargoyles, Samurai Pizza Cats, Avenger Penguins, Bucky O'Hare, SWAT Cats, Road Rovers, Biker Mice from Mars, Cowboys of Mumiza, Dino Saucers, Extreme Dinos, Street Sharks, or the Mighty Ducks.
Weird one thrown in at the end there.
I only know of Street Sharks, Biker Mice, SWAT Cats because I love them. Gargoyles.
I know all of them, motherfuckers.
I don't know
Bucky
the rest.
O'Hare.
I wish
Except
I
for the
knew
Avenger
some-
Penguins. I'm sorry, I take that back.
I'd like to know what the Extreme Dinos were, or the Bucky O'Hare, or the Penguins.
Oh, you don't know
the
Bucky O'Hare?
Samurai Cats, bro. Pizza
I don't know if
Cat?
I'd count Bucky O'Hare in this bunch. Bucky O'Hare is more of a satire on Buck Rogers.
I don't know.
Ninja Turtles win no matter what.
I don't know many of these.
Most of these are ripoffs of the Ninja Turtles. Even Mighty Ducks retroactively was a ripoff of the Ninja Turtles. So
Ninja Turtles spawned off a whole ripoff genre of heroic animal characters, and I was all about it. I was all about it when I was a kid. When I saw Street Sharks and Biker Mice from Mars and SWAT Cats, I got all the toys along with TMNT, video games. Dude, oh man, I won't forget. There was a time if I wasn't being Michelangelo, I thought I was T-Bone or Razor from SWAT Cats. Those were the guys, T-Bone and Razor. Oh, great show. So tragic. It only went 2 seasons. The figures are great too on the Biker Mice, and they had a Marvel comic at the time too. In the 90s, they had a Marvel run. Memories.
The way we used to be.
The way we were.
That's true.
The chance to take my soul.
I don't know. The only ones of these I've ever heard of are Bucky O'Hare, apart from TMNT, Bucky O'Hare and Biker Mice from Mars. That's it. I don't know the others. Well, Mighty Ducks, but that's because of the hockey connection. But the rest, I'll have to do one in the chat for the Brits.
The Brits.
Who would win if a fight between the Wombles, the Flower Pot Men, and the Magic Roundabout crew, and the Clangers? Who would win between
Brits.
those?
Pulse.
Nobody here would know those, but The Clangers, the Flower Pot Men, the Wombles, and Trumpton. Who would win in a fight between those? There you go. That's one for all the Brits in the crowd. Postman Pat would he would probably win because he would just like nice everybody to death. He'd so nice them. He's such a
Solid
pleasant guy.
tactic.
He's so lovely. That's right, solid tactic. He'd empathize them to death. Anyway, how did we get onto this? Did anybody ever? I think Tom's gone. I'm going to play a clip. I'm going to play an audio clip for Truth, Hope, Love, and hope they can hear it because it's $10.
Did our lawyer call you?
Yeah, $10 is $10.
Did you hear that? Could you hear
I
that?
did. Oh, I heard a lot of clear.
What the hell was that?
Oh, I'll leave you guessing. You have to guess what that clip was from.
I don't know. Something about it sounded like David Spade. That's all I know.
No.
Okay.
Somebody will know. Someone will know out there. Noddy, right. Yeah, Noddy's a good one. If Noddy in a fight, Noddy would knock someone's head off.
And then Truth, Hope, Love asks, "What about Wallace and Gromit? What about them?
What about them?
They're funny. I guess.
Funny.
If they would win in a fight with TMNT or not, no, they get their ass kicked.
Yeah, they'd get killed. And I don't want them to get killed.
Well, Wallace is about 80. So,
yeah, Wallace is 80, and he would make them really good cheesy pizza. I want them to be friends.
Oh, well, yeah, they would just make a pizza. But did you know that was funny? Did you hear about that deal that the guy, I can't, was it, what's the name of the guy who owns Wallace and Gromit, who makes them?
I don't know, actually.
Don't know.
Can't remember his name. Somebody in the chat will remember, but like I guess they had a fire at their studio, and it just so happened that he had Wallace and Gromit with him because they were doing promotion for the movie or whatever, the Were-Rabbit movie. Nick Parks, okay.
Somebody said in the chat.
And the only reason he lost all the Chicken Run figures and all this other stuff, but he luckily had Wallace and Gromit with him when the fire happened. Otherwise, he would have lost the original Wallace and Gromit as well.
Yeah, it would have been a shame.
Yeah.
The Telltale series, Wallace and Gromit, totally awesome.
I don't think I've seen that. Yeah, Aardman Animation, that's what it is. But yeah. Count Duckula, I remember Count Duckula.
This guy.
Okay, well, before we get back to this one, I meant for the British fight, Wombles and such.
Yes.
Well, Truth, Hope, Love, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I will. It's in my list of things to do to make a show about British children's shows of days gone by, because some of them were very, very surreal.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say The Magic Roundabout because that's a French show, but obviously I watched it dubbed into English. But it's just the most insane, surreal stuff that they showed kids then. I mean, it was mind bending.
Yeah, and that's possibly why it took so long for Chicken Run sequel. Yeah, sorry, Brian. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. Yeah.
But yeah, Waltman says, so this WGA strike might last until December now.
What a shame.
All because of the amount of the writers in the room and the diverse mandates. Well, that tells me that... Well, that just tells me that...
As being kind.
First of all, mandates are problematic.
Diverse mandates.
Mandates, it should be person dates. This tells me that Hollywood's kind of getting to the point where they've had enough of this bullshit. And I wanted to talk more about the writers, but I don't know if Script is going to join us here or not. But we do have something to talk about that we can discuss before he gets here, if he gets here, about the writers' strike anyway. Or I mean the actors' strike, not the writers' strike. And that is Billy Porter's all upset that he has to sell his house due to strikes, slams Bob Iger for saying our demands for living wage are unrealistic. Fuck you.
I would need context into that.
Okay, well, first of all, I guess Billy Porter has to sell his house. Billy Porter's a pretty prominent actor. If you have to sell your house because you lost 2 projects, then that tells me your financing sucks.
Yeah, think about how much money Ice Cube lost when he wouldn't take the pokey poke.
Right?
And he lost what, $10 million? And he didn't say, I lost my house. Feel bad.
I wish Mikey was here too, because somebody I can't remember the saying, but he would know. But like, there's a saying about how many months of how many years of taxes or whatever you should also put away when you buy a house. You know, just so you know you're safe, because otherwise you wouldn't have to sell your house so early, right? You know, this tells me motherfucker's been working. Like all of a sudden, just because you lost 2 jobs because of the strike, you're gonna have to sell your house. That tells me you blew your fucking money on stupid shit.
Yeah, if you got $1 million for a house, you're doing okay. You shouldn't have to sell it this quickly.
That's what I
Like,
mean.
he bought 20 cars and boats.
Yeah,
and
what
all
the
this other
fuck
kind
is
of
the
crap.
problem?
Multiple houses, probably.
This dude has been in shit like the Cinderella movie from 2021.
Oh, that's the guy.
He has been in let's see here. I know his name. I've seen him around. Kinky Boots was one of his early ones. And he is, let's see here.
Real superstar.
He's evidently some kind of musician too on top of it all. So where's this make a song, motherfucker?
Now, when he talks about living wage, is he talking about himself? Is he talking about himself, or is he talking on behalf of others who are even less well off? Because there are probably actors that would give their right.
No, the quote he said, and this is what I'm talking about. I'll see if it's in here because I saw it on the tweet. I have to sell my house. Yeah, because we're on strike. And I don't know when we're going to go back. The life of an artist until you make fuck you money, which I haven't made yet, is still so check to check. I was supposed to be in a new movie and on a new television show starting in September. None of that is happening. So to the person who said we're going to starve them out until they have to sell their apartments, you've already starved me out. Okay, like
Iger picked a fight he could not win.
No, seriously, like this dude has been in The Simpsons, a Twilight Zone episode, some show called Saturday Night Cedar, 2 episodes of The Damn Michael Shea, Middlemost Post, whatever that fucking show is, Gossip Girl he's been on.
Oh yeah, now I know how much he's actually
Fairfax, The Proud Family, he recently just worked on, and he's got just in this year, The Proud Family and Black and Iconic, he's a host of an episode. So you've done some work this year. That tells me what the fuck, dude. Like,
he knows that he's in the position where the mainstream has to, other the talking points of getting the
and he was an 80 for Brady an hour, son. He was an 80 for Brady as well.
No one ever said industrial action was easy.
This is the fabulous godmother from the Cinderella movie. Sorry, go ahead.
Nobody said industrial action was easy. Where did they think this was going to be an easy thing? I mean, look at miners that have been out strike in the decades gone past, and other industrial, physical industrial workers. It's not an easy thing to go on strike, and you're going to be prepared and committed to do it. Now, why don't they reach out to their community to help support them through these difficult times? Because maybe there's a few famous stars could share some of their FU money, as he called it. But yeah, I mean, it's you're willing to, you've got to take the pain if you're willing to take on the fight.
Yep.
And regardless of whether their fight is right or not, that's just a fact in industrial action. If you look at the history of unions through the last 250 years.
Well, I don't tweet to it.
I don't doubt that people, I guess you could say amongst the big wigs, I don't doubt that there's a certain level of unreasonability. I really don't. But that does mean that the actors don't have any unreasonable, positions as well. And this is the problem with literally both sides. One thinks everything that they're saying is right and everything about the other side is wrong. There are good, reasonable points to both sides, but no one wants to accept that because we're in a day and age where it's everyone's fault but mine. No one has any responsibility, accountability, and humility.
He's working. We're getting pulled further and further apart away from just logical.
Isn't that ironic in the day and age of social media, and we have a greater divide about this stuff more than ever? And I was listening to the Saska sisters talk with Eric July a week or two ago on his For Can's Sake podcast, and they were saying that when they started getting their foot off the ground, they didn't say for the last strike that they were sitting around, their thumbs in their mouth, waiting for Hollywood to change their ways. They are coming up with ideas left and right, get themselves going, just in case things didn't pan out. Obviously, things worked out, but those two ladies got it. They're not sitting there saying, "Oh, we gotta wait for these companies to change." they're not going to change. Even if you come to an agreement, at best, there's going to be what they're going to give you, maybe some variation of what you want, but there's always going to be a read the fine print of here's how I'm going to help you, but here's how I'm also going to screw you.
Well, here's the thing that I don't understand is motherfuckers bitching, but he directed a movie in 2022. That's the only thing he fucking did in 2022 as far as movies go. He did a bunch of television, but anyway. And he was in that Cinderella movie in 2021. Okay. He worked more in 2023 than he did in the previous years. In fact, there's a gap here from 2020 all the way back to 2014 where he didn't make no movies. He only worked on television. And he's bitching now when he's been in 2 fucking movies this year.
You know, regardless.
Again, it tells me you've got an accounting problem.
Yeah. Regardless
Sorry,
of no, it's okay, mate. Regardless of the rights or the wrongs of their case, they picked a really, really bad time because they've got no leverage whatsoever right now. Because I think a lot of the studios are happy to just run out the clock, and they're losing money on the releases. So why would they hurry to make more of those films? You know. Anyway, with the economy and everything like that, they picked a really bad time. So they've got very little leverage. So what did he think was going to happen? And what does he think striking is all about? It's not some, you know, oh my God, we've done a week and everyone's caved to our demands. That doesn't happen. I mean, you should try going back being a miner in the 1930s in Britain and see how that works out.
Right,
you know?
right.
Guys that actually had something to fight about and fight for.
No, and I've
come
said
from
this
a family
before.
of miners.
As far as the writers go, I feel pretty bad for the writers because writers are one of those people in Hollywood where they're considered above the line, but they get paid like they're below the line all the time.
Yeah, let's be real though, Tom. Some of them are people who write shows like She-Hulk and The Witcher.
That may be, but
would
you know what else,
debate
Nick?
That a lot of them are not worth. What
I'm
they
not saying
even
you're wrong,
get.
but that's besides the point, right? Like the whole point is they're told 9 times out of 10 these writers are told what to write, right? Like so, it's not like I'm not even going to give I'm giving
how
that
many of
benefit
them
of
were
the doubt.
how many of them were brought to that position because of the DEI demographics?
That very well may be too. And guess what? A lot of those people are going to be starved out now too. But that's not the point. Point I was getting to is when it comes to actors though on the other side of it, because writers, even if you want to say that, that's besides the point. They don't get paid on the level like actors do. Right.
That's true. And there's a problem.
That's
there.
my point. Like, and even most actors, unless you're in that top percentile, I get it, don't get paid big bucks. I get that. I'm not denying that. I'm not arguing that fact. But most actors who are not like quote unquote working actors who can afford to make a living off of acting have a second career for a reason, or they have a second job for a reason, right? Because acting is one of those things that you can't rely on it. You don't know when you're going to get your next part all the time. So you have to be fiscally responsible, which it doesn't sound like Billy Porter has been. You also have to, make sure you got other fucking fires going just in case. And sometimes, it's one of those things where you're not going to be the guy that's going to be in all these movies that's making $10-12 million a picture. That's just not going to be everybody. I'm
assuming I know nothing about the Actors Guild. I mean, I'm assuming they've got some kind of financial program that would assist the lower paid actors that are the ones that really are going to be starving. I don't know about this guy, but
they already are, and that's my point I was getting to.
I'm
Yeah,
assuming they've got something that would help that, but that's what unions normally do. And then normally they would also, and I'm coming from an old industrial background in the UK, family background, they would reach out to the community around for support in terms of donations or whatever support. Are actors doing that? Are they reaching out to the country saying, hey, send us your money to help us in this fight? I don't know.
Well, they've got certain things that they are doing. Like certain actors have given certain things.
And that's the way it normally works. So, and again, I'm not debating the validity of their case. God knows nobody here would support the studios, and I'm not really trying to pick sides at all. But if you're gonna go on strike, you gotta be prepared for some pain.
And I don't have any sympathy for either party. That's the thing. Yeah.
No,
you're right.
Certainly not. No,
because when it comes to actors, especially the ones that are working, like you should be smart with your damn money. Like I've heard so many stories about it in the past, and this is ActionCom brings up a great point here. When Arnold came to America, he made sure he had other things going on in case this acting thing just didn't work out.
Mhm.
You read his book, he talks about it. He specifically bought a bunch of apartment buildings.
Yep, that's true. He was, we could give it's easy to give him crap now, but when he came to this country, he clearly had a vision. He knew what he wanted, he knew what to set up for, and he accomplished a lot of those things. And you know what? In that regard, he fought for what he knew he was worth, and he won most of the time.
But then you
He
got
won
guys
most
like
of the
Will
time.
Smith who turn around and spent their first $1 million before they even had it.
Yeah, Arnie's a bit of an outfield.
He's an
because
anomaly.
Not
but-
everyone's got that level of vision and commitment.
No,
in
but I'm
any
sorry,
walk
but
of
if you're
life.
an actor and after you get your first big payday, instead of buying a house like Billy Porter did, what you do is invest that money and set it aside and save it. And then your next few jobs, you build up some, then you buy a house.
Mhm.
Like this motherfucker looks like he bought a house probably right after his first directing gig, probably. Or after the Cinderella gig.
I mean, someone did say in the chat that at the time, I mean, negotiations were going to have to happen anyway because of these contracts. I guess there was going to be some kind of crunch at this point. The actors perhaps and writers perhaps didn't pick this time to be the battleground.
Well, and you
unfortunately,
said it
that's the
yourself,
time
this
they're
is-
in.
I think it was you that said that like this is the worst time for them to pick
It's-
to do this. But even if it
yeah.
had, because right after we're already just coming out of COVID, that's the whole thing, right? Like
And also
a lot
the
of
man-
actors weren't working at all.
And how many of those writers and actors were the ones who were telling people to do the pokey poke?
That may
And
be.
now, you know what? A lot of them, it serves them right. Because there were also a few actors who said, you know what, I'm not going to do this. And they lost their jobs. Do you think any of those actors, and I'm sure you could think of a name or two that comes to mind, who we know didn't take it and probably doesn't have any sympathy for them because they all wanted him gone.
And I'm not trying to make that about, not trying to make this about that so much as it's just the fact that, look, people want to work. I don't want to take the ability of anybody to work. I don't think anybody should have the, like even Seth Rogen. I don't give a fuck if he works in Hollywood. Just stay the fuck away from Ninja Turtles. That kind of a thing. I don't give a shit. He can go make 20 super bad movies for all I care. I don't give a shit. Like that's the thing is I'm not even the kind of guy who wants to cancel most people. Like when I say Kurtzman should be fired from Star Trek, that doesn't mean he shouldn't go make something else stupid that I don't care about. Not only that, you can still flip burgers.
Oh, the market bears. That's
I
the
wouldn't
whole
want a
point.
burger made from him because Lord knows it'll come out 25% different than what I ordered, but
I like burgers.
Oh, very nice. Very good one, Tom. Yeah, I mean, none of this is good. But I think they've just it's the perfect storm for them in terms of a strike, and the economy isn't great. The studios have been losing a lot of money, some of them more than others.
Yeah. Well, I look at
and
actors like-
the desire for their content is decreasing, partly because of the quality of the content, partly because their model is perhaps done at this stage in the 21st century, the Hollywood model. So it's not a great time to be on the front lines of an industrial dispute in that industry. And it's not me taking sides because I don't have no love for the studios either. I just think it's a perfect bad storm for them right now.
I agree with you, and I think that Monkey's right that they're going to lose this. Go ahead, CC. I'm sorry.
No, I noticed Iger's name in the title, and I'm wondering how much Variety had to do with putting his name there, and how much this guy might be just signaling that he's an ally of the cause, because it's really, really tempting to get in with the mob and say, I am with you on the fight. Please support me,
Well, and if anything, this just shows us exactly what we've been saying for the last few years. Actors will say whatever the fuck they think they need to say, whether it's to get a job, whether it's to be on the right side of politics, whether it's to be on the right side of their president of their company, until a strike is on and they're fair weather as can fucking be. Look who the first person they go after. It sure as fuck wasn't David Zaslav.
Yeah.
Even though Zaslav's been the bane of their existence for the last year and a half. But he ain't been making the kind of money that Bob Iger's been making. That's the big difference here. And Disney, people are happy and glad to call him Daddy Iger as long as the machine's working and he's working with them and they think he's on their side. But when he said that, he pissed a lot of people off. And rightfully
they found a
fucking
common
so.
enemy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I do
error.
have some sympathy though for the many other people whose jobs revolve around these writers and actors.
There's one department.
The craft guys, the technical guys, the
Yeah.
grips, you name it, all.
Those are the ones who are
tens of
truly
thousands of
suffering,
others
yes.
who are
That's
kind of
it, right?
The real
you feel
sufferers.
bad
The
for
guys who
them.
are the 9-to-5ers are actually more like the 9-to-9ers are
How
better because these
about-
guys work 15, 16-hour
So hope
days.
for
They've-
their sake
when-
it's resolved
I-
quickly.
Hopefully,
When I
no,
was
I'm
in-
thinking
when I was
about
in
the
film
CDers.
school,
Let's
The
try and
one
go one
where
at a
it's
time.
I could not play the politics to be a bigger wig. I went against the politics. That's why I left film school. But I was a great boomer. I could hold that boomstick like the best of them. Nobody could catch the boom audio like I could. And I
Yeah.
still left. But I wouldn't have a job right now. I'd be out. I'd be screwed.
That's
right?
just it. You know, the steady workers, right? Like those are the ones that like you get an acting gig, especially if you're somebody in that top percentile. I'm sorry, this is why I have no sympathy for Billy Porter. You should be looking at that going, look, I don't know when I'm going to get my next big payday. I can do my television work in the meantime to eat, but I should be putting the rest of this away. And maybe I shouldn't be buying a fucking house yet until I'm a steady actor.
Yeah, but that's a
Pick
human
up
trait, though. It's
indie
not just
projects,
actors.
but no, they want the projects that have the built-in audience, the big red carpet. They want to say the thing that gets them attention. They want all the glamour and the glitz. Once again, that's why I don't.
Well,
like,
yeah, they were big
have
fans
Ed-
of Bob, but when they thought the woke was coming back, they didn't. Yeah, sorry, Nick.
Well, it's just I don't have as much sympathy. And you know what? And I know we were mentioned not to make it about the poke. It's not that it's about that. It's more of maybe people would have more sympathy if they weren't so antagonistic towards people like us. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Maybe
And
not.
The
I
fact
didn't
that
have
they
any.
the fact that many of them expect that after how they were towards regular people like us, I do take an exception to that. And there's people, you could say, yeah, well, not everyone's like that. Well, okay, well, where are you? Stand up, out yourself.
Well, here's one of
tired
them,
of them.
Mr. Script Doctor, and that's why this one's on the screen here. How you doing, Script?
Oh, I'm doing well. Sorry I'm late, guys. I was in a meeting
That's all
talking
right.
about this very subject.
Well,
Script-
we're going to get to
hang
you in
on.
just a second here because
Sorry, Tom. Script was late because he had glued his hand to the tarmac of a street in front of Universal Studios.
why did you do that?
I'm not even in the same country as Universal
I'm
Studios.
just kidding, mate.
He did that via Skype, evidently. No, we're glad you're here because I wasn't going to get into the writers part of it. We were just bitching about Billy Porter's bullshit.
Well, Billy Porter doesn't know how to spend his money. That's
Exactly. That's what I fucking said. That's what I was saying as you come in here. I'm like, maybe you shouldn't be buying a fucking house yet till you're a little bit steady actor. Not only that,
Well,
he said you're
the thing
bitching
is-
about Star, but it's like he's a musician. Sing a song, bitch.
Well, not only that, I mean, I think he bought a very, very, very expensive house that he didn't
Like a
need to buy.
dumbass.
That's different. I mean, I know tons of actors and tons of writers that they purchased their homes that were very modestly priced in California in areas that are not necessarily the best area, but the one with the most affordable housing. So they have a mortgage that they can manage if they haven't already paid it off.
Right.
They'll be fine. It's the ones that are like, oh, I'm on a hot streak. I'm this new, hit big ticket item. I'm getting paid and I'm getting contracts for a couple $1 million down the road. I'm going to buy me a $10 million house. Like, no, you're an idiot. Don't do that. William Shatner 101. That's what he learned how to do back in the 60s. And it's like every actor should be taking his advice, which he is repeated over and over again, which is that if you're an actor, save your money, buy something affordable to build a foundation, and then just never and go for any role you can.
Yeah.
Keep working.
This
that's
guy,
what you do.
Billy Porter, isn't acting the way he is because he's an actor. It's because some humans do that in any walk of life, in any walk.
No,
of
that's
life.
exactly what I had said too.
You win the lottery, you will be poor within 3 years. Like, that's just how-
Oh, trust me, I know somebody who blew a lot of lottery money real fucking quick. But anyway, so Hollywood writers and actors are feeling the financial pinch as the strike drags on. Script, you said you just got out of a meeting. So from the writer's perspective now, you guys have been on strike for over 100 days, or it's 100 days today, I think it is.
It's approaching 100 days, or it will be 100 days this week for sure.
Okay. So I knew it was coming up here. Tell us what's the latest, what the fuck is going on here? What's the new talk? Tell us everything.
the number of people that I've spoken with are really upset with some of the negotiating leadership that brought up the dumbest thing ever, which is like trying to request an extension of their health benefits as part of the negotiations, which is not even a thing. For those of you who aren't aware, writers part of the union. The union itself provides health benefits so long as you make $42,000 a year. It's from the union. It has nothing to do with the studios. The studios don't really pay that. They just make sure that you have the money, and then the union dues go towards the thing. That is how they articulate it to me. I haven't ever qualified for that because number one, I have Canadian health insurance, and number two, I was only ever an associate member. And when I did make my units, I was like, screw that. I'm not keep paying $100 a year for associate thing. I'm going to save that until I get my units again. But regardless of that factor, they brought that up, and it was a dumb point to bring up because they're only arguing for minimum basic agreements, and minimum basic agreements just mean that this is your starting point for worth negotiations. So if people are like not going to make that $42,000 in the fiscal year to qualify for healthcare, if they had something that was of interest to the studios, they could negotiate the price to make up the difference that was lost during the strike so that they could qualify for health benefits. It's that simple. That is how the business works. But for some reason, one of the negotiating captains brought this up and I guess convinced the other captains to support it. And it ended up throwing an extra monkey wrench into the possibility of coming back to the table that was otherwise not needed. The other aspect being is that there's pressures on a few of the studios to go back to negotiating and to acquiesce on a number of things that the WGA wants. But there's also a couple of people that are holding out saying they don't want to do that because it could lead to other complications with regards to transparency with their products. We don't know exactly who that might be, but I'm guessing one of them has big, round, black, mousy ears. So that's also the case. The other part too is that so much of the Californian economy depends on Hollywood that restaurants, cleaning services, limo services or any type of transportation services are all suffering greatly because there's nobody able to use their services right now. So these are people that are not even part of an actual budget. They're just the people that benefit off the economy and then the people that use their services. So dry cleaning services and laundry services for costumes and stuff that have contracts with studios that are not predicated on a specific show or anything. They are now laying off 25% of their workforce and doing everything they can to try and stay operational with this staff that they have to weather this out. And what's kind of been interesting is that a lot of those businesses are actually filing complaints, writing letters, emails, text, tweets, and stuff to the studios and not to the people on strike. And the reason being is that they are well aware that a lot of their work comes from people that create the stuff, not so much the people that, fund it. Without something to create, there's nothing to fund. And so back and forth. And the other part too, that is also of concern is that, let's say hypothetically, the WGA and the SAG do not get the deal they want. They acquiesce to a deal that's actually bad form for them in the industry. That's going to still have a ripple effect on those businesses because if you can scan an actor and then use them ad nauseum, that means you don't need anyone on set to film them because it's done through an AI or some other type of digital mechanism, which means that your gaffers, your grips, your electric, your craft services are all out of a job because there's no one for them to feed, no one for them to light, no one for them to, build a set around or anything of that nature.
Craft services.
Yeah, craft services is great.
Yeah.
Well, no, he's making a great point. Like, and that's, the same thing. Like, for instance, Dylan Postal, or however you say his name, the guy who's Hornswoggle in the WWE or whatever, he was making that same exact point about the whole dwarf thing, right? He's like, not only did 6 other dwarves lose their jobs, but how many stand-ins and stuntmen and so on and so forth lost their jobs. That's exactly just it. And those are the ones where, like, you don't hear me bitch about it because you do need extra people for certain things.
Yeah,
it's the other stupid shit that they don't need extra, because that is true. There's other sides of this where part of the problem these movies cost so much is because the unions force you to have 3 people to do one person's job. Sometimes that's a problem. But
on the below the line stuff,
that being said, the other point is though, is like, if you're doing this AI shit, you're costing all sorts of other people their jobs. And that's where these guys are coming in and making almost $1 billion a year to be able to do this AI shit for the studio, because for them, they're saving that much money probably.
Yeah, they're saving pretty much everybody. If they can use an AI to write it, they use an AI to sort of computer generate a cast. Those two things have a domino effect with regards to how they're done in real life. So let's say that you write a script. Well, when you write a script and it goes into production, you need a set decorator, you need a location manager, you need a costume designer, you need a lighter, you need a lighting, you need a cinematographer, you need a gaffer, you need a best boy, you need electric, you need craft services, you need scheduling, you need accountants. All of those things are gone if you rely on an AI model system, because the AI does it all.
Look,
it is all shot in a virtual space, and it's basically it's one guy operating a massive amount of tech that otherwise traditionally now would be several hundred, if not 1,000 jobs across all aspects within the entertainment
I got a
industry.
personal story about this too, because I was craft services on Drake's first music video, right?
Oh,
I
I'm
was
sorry.
nobody. I was doing well. No, I don't. I'm not a big fan of Drake, but it was a great production, and I was craft services, and I hung out and I acted professionally. And then that opportunity comes. They needed a driver because they didn't have one. The driver, whatever they had, they bailed. And I was like, hey, you're a professional guy. Can you drive for us? So I became the driver for that music video, for the actual filming of the driving portions of that video. And that's the point. It's like it's also the opportunity, right? It's like whoever you are, whether you're and then like I say, I loved boom miking. You can be a small time guy, and just the opportunity to make your way, to make connections, to build, all of that is dead right now. If you're not,
I mean, the other part too is that, listen, there's no doubt about it in my mind that some of the higher tier celebrities, whether they're actors and writers, have really irked the fan base. They have. I mean, Nick, you talked about how some of them were just crapping on guys like you. When you take a look at if you try to think about it, how many names of them that actually that you can name, you're probably looking under 50. And that's not even a drop in the water when it comes to actual talent and with whether it's writers or actors that's out there. And the reason that they're saying this is because
next to thousands, yeah.
And the reason that they're saying those things is because they're being paid to by the studio execs and people that are promoting that agenda. The other part too, like we'll take She-Hulk for an example, right? So Disney wanted to do a She-Hulk series. Well, the person that was in charge of doing that series says, okay, I want to do a She-Hulk series. I want it to be a comedy. And they put out an assignment post, and a number of writers, and I got to speak with a couple of them, came from comedy and legal procedures, and they made their pitch. And guess what? They didn't get the job. Why? Because they didn't want to talk about female empowerment and all the girly stuff, but Jessica Gao did. And so the people hired her because that was in line with what they wanted. The good writers, the ones that could have actually given us a great show, were discarded because they didn't fall in line with what the studios were looking for when it came to their projects. That is why we get the bad content. The thing that's even worse is that if Jessica Gao were as good of a writer at that she should be, she could have done all those things, but she could have also hired a writing staff to say, okay, these are the points that this guy wants in the show. How can we make this actually good for a general audience, as opposed to just being a bunch of hens clucking around in the writer's room and doing all this like superficial low-hanging fruit gags on feminism, twerking and banging Daredevil. Like that's what they didn't do. And as a result, the audience suffered for it. The brand has suffered for it. Disney suffered for it. And when that writer's claiming he only got a $300 check, the residual for the show, he should be thankful he got that, because if it was a hit show, it probably would have had a zero at the end of it.
I experienced that 15 years ago, though. That was pre-woke. It was the same dang thing in film school, because you had these leaders, you had these political leaders, and you had to agree with everything they believed in. You had to abide by it. And I'm not sure that it really began with woke, because it was the same back then. That's why I left. That's why I got tired of it and quit, because I just pissed on all of them. And I got angry with it. And
it's always kind of been that way. However, the difference being is that 25 years ago, they were all about just making money. Give me something I haven't seen before that'd be fun and good, and maybe it has a couple of these ideas that I have. That's what they primarily were doing. That's how you got stuff that was actually good. They're like, listen, okay, we're going to do, 25 years ago, they say, we're going to do a She-Hulk show. I want to see a nice romance. Let's hook her up with Daredevil. I don't care how you do it. That's all I want to see. Go. And that was all the restrictions they had. And if that was the case, you could probably have a really great show 25 years ago where She-Hulk and Daredevil are in a romance that people actually like, and that had comedy and that had legal procedural jokes and things of that nature. Could have all been done fine. But we don't have those types of mentalities anymore, because what we're getting now are a bunch of people in their early to mid 20s, if not some closer to 30, who came out of Ivy League schools about data points in business. And they're saying, well, this is the ideology that seems to be trending on social media. This is what we're going to inject into our IP so that we can approach that market. And hopefully it'll, and they don't say hopefully, they'll say, and we are 100% certain that'll have a positive impact on audience, and we'll have a hit show on our hands. And every single data point as a result of that has come back with the opposite results, so to speak. So wherein lies the problem? Well, it lies in problems with the people that are in charge of those IPs. And that's the thing. Like I was in meetings mostly all day yesterday. I was in meetings, a bunch of meetings today, and writers were just starting to finally complain and be like, I lost out on all these great gigs because I wanted to tell this type of story, but because I didn't say the right words about feminism or diversity or inclusion or equity, I didn't get the job.
Script, can I ask a question, sir?
Yeah.
I know you don't necessarily want to talk about the actor situation, but the writer situation. What's your gut feeling here? Is this going to go on for a long time, or do you see a resolution on the horizon for writers?
Well, the writers are in a kind of a that they feel that they're in a slightly better situation for two reasons. The first one is that they've weathered this type of stuff already for the last 3 years with the pandemic. So not much has really changed for them overall. The ones that are going to be the most upset are the nepotism writers of the woke generation. The longer they are not able to push their ideology and whatnot in their scripts, the less likely they're going to be able to maintain their relevance, because they're very well tuned to the fact that this is a fad that is being artificially dragged on, as Tom has said, for the last few years. So that's one big issue as well. The other part being is that we are already learning that some of the higher stake investors in these in the studios are pretty upset that this strike has gone on as long as it has. And regardless of the fact that the studios are buying foreign media to put in their streaming services and to distribute, the thing that they're worried about is the fact that American audiences aren't going to be seeing American-made stuff anymore, and that there's a little bit of patriotism when it comes to American audiences. They like stuff that is made by them for them. One thing they also don't like is they don't like reading subtitles by and large. So if you're getting a lot of foreign stuff from Korea, India, any other countries that require subtitles, audiences are going to turn away from that.
I'll watch it. If it's good material, I will watch it. If it's good material, I will watch it. But if it's not American, I'll watch it.
Fine, but you're part of a minority, Nick, and a very helpful one, because it's great when you can actually say, yes, I'll watch something with subtitles. But the other part too is that you can bet dimes to dollars that the quality output is that's happening in foreign media, foreign entertainment, is on par with the quality of output happening stateside, which means that there's going to be more bad than good, because it's always like that. It's always like that.
Do you feel
there's so much anime out there that, yeah, there's a lot of it that's good, but of the anime fans, they know there's a lot of more that's bad. Like, it's just beautifully drawn, but terrible.
Are the investors pressuring the do you think the investors are pressuring the studios to try and get a resolution here? Is it the studios they would target, because that's who they're invested in, isn't it? I mean, to put pressure on the studio to come to the table?
Well, it's happening just like what it was happening in 07, 08, which is back in like December of 07, when the strike looks like it was heading into the new year. The investors were saying, we're in the first business quarter of this fiscal year, and we haven't made anything. And you're relying on reality TV, which has been having declining ratings since the strike entered its second month. Like, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was playing like 5 days a week, and people are only tuning in 1 out of those 5 because they're looking for something else to watch. They just didn't want to watch the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
And that was already 5 or 6 years into the reality TV explosion that occurred with Survivor, which was like turn of the century. So people are already getting tired of it. And those alternatives weren't bringing in satisfaction. The other part too is that reality TV does not have rewatch value.
No.
It's a very disposable, and it's not something, and they can't market it on the secondary market. And right now, streaming has kind of destroyed that.
I'm
to
a,
a degree.
I'm a closet
That's a lot of the
Survivor fan,
issue
and
with a lot of
there's
streaming
some seasons. There's some seasons I'd rewatch, but yeah,
A lot of the streaming shows, you watch them just to say you got to them and got to be done with them. Like, yeah, there's obvious exceptions like Cobra Kai where you
Mhm.
love to rewatch those type of shows. But a lot of
Daredevil's
them,
another one.
yeah, Daredevil, thank you. A lot of them people watch it just to get to the next thing. They're not getting to have that rewatchability factor. And that's definitely definitely not exclusive to reality TV, which I agree with you on. Reality TV is definitely, I think maybe that got it going, but a lot of the streaming shows have definitely added to that. And it's unfortunate because we should get more great originals, but it seems like a lot of people who will watch them, they'll talk about, and they don't talk about it once. I mean, remember when everyone was talking about Game of Thrones and how huge that was? Like, I never watched it myself, but I couldn't deny how huge the hype was around. That hype around it was undeniable. It was massive. It was
Oh yeah,
almost unparalleled.
2012 was like I think its biggest year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was I'd say between that and like through 15, maybe that gap
Mhm.
there. I don't know the exact years, but I have a rough estimate. But I will not deny that hype. That hype was insane. And people kept talking about those episodes. I remember people talking about the first season when the fifth season was on, talking about, and it's just like, wow, we don't have those types of shows. I remember when people were obsessed with The Sopranos. I remember I went back to going to watch The Sopranos. Like,
Oh yeah, and
and
The
you can put on The
Shield,
Sopranos now. It still holds up.
timeless story, great characters, and I'm going to defend Survivor because I'm a fan. No, I haven't watched recent seasons, but there's a few seasons, like season 16.
I
for
know
example,
Richard
where
Hatch's
you just
brother,
have great
Dan.
you have great characters and just timeless events that you will come back to. Right, it doesn't matter what it is. You put something to film that's not about the spoilers. Tom, you get this right. It's like if you can spoil everything and want to still watch it again and again, then it's more timeless. It's something you'll come back to and just enjoy the experience of the story. If something is not worth watching anymore once you know what happens, then it's one and done. It's a cheeseburger, at some fast
It
food
is,
place.
and here's the actual scary aspect. But if the WGA and SAG don't get a proper deal to actually start contributing back to creatively making actual shows again, is that Hollywood will turn into YouTube, and that is terrible. Because imagine now that you're never going to be able to, like, you're going to have an algorithm dictating what you can see. Like, we already have that badly enough with Netflix and with YouTube and other streaming platforms. Imagine that happening across every board. Imagine the fact that someone makes something independent that tries to go onto YouTube and it never takes off, and therefore that person that might have been the next, George Lucas with the next Star Wars, it'll never see the light of day because big tech and the algorithms will dictate that is not what people are trending towards. And it'll end up being a perpetual engine of fads with little corners of the actual market, as opposed to being able to open it up so that people can discover new things all the time. I mean, just think of it this way. We have Sony, who did Oppenheimer, and then earlier they also did, Universal did Oppenheimer. So my mistake. So Universal did Oppenheimer, and now they're working on The Exorcist, right? Through Peacock. Like that's the same company providing two very distinctly different genre type films that you can see. But imagine that's going to be into YouTube. They'll never do one or the other. They'll pick one, and then that's all you're going to get. If it's going to be horror, it's like all you're going to get on this channel is horror stuff. And that's it. You'll never get any other variety. You'll never get those people working on any other type of stuff. You'll never get an Oppenheimer. You'll never get someone like Christopher Nolan coming in. It'll just be people trying to essentially zombify Friedkin's work and do it horribly. And then you have conversely like Warner Brothers, right? You've got, earlier this year they did The Flash, which was terrible, but then they did Barbie. But then later on they're going to be doing Dune 2. So you have three movies, three tentpole type films that are of three very different genres, all of which are going to perform differently for each one. But there's that variety there that's coming from that source. That's what Hollywood does. That's what they did well. And the fact of the matter is that you're not going to get that variety. I mean, it's already been constrained enough as it is over the last 20 years. Imagine it being that grip being tightened even more when they start removing more of the human element, removing more of the people trying to pitch original stuff, and just focusing on, okay, we're just going to make these broad but niche distribution methods of our content that feeds these distribution methods. It's going to be,
kind of like they
terrible.
used to be, basically, where they would actually make genre films.
It would be great if they went back to making actual.
Or do you mean
genre
something
films.
different? That's what I thought you meant,
Yeah.
but I could be wrong.
What I basically mean is that they'll be making genre films, but instead of it being a multitude of different genres, it'll be one genre, most likely. In which
Well,
case
like
it's
I thought you meant like they were going to be going away from, we got to make these movies for everybody to, sometimes you just want to make a horror movie and it doesn't have to appeal to every single fucking demographic, or
that was the
superhero
ideal.
movie and it doesn't have to appeal
But
to every
here's the
single
thing.
demographic.
The opposite would happen if it went into more of the YouTube model, right? Because you'd never have that option. It'd be like, oh, it's going to be, we'll have a startups channel somewhere else that does this, and maybe it'll take off, maybe it won't. But the algorithms in power that be will never promote it, will never push it. In which case, by and large, it would never exist. Whereas someone in the writing world right now could pitch some sort of new thing like a Megan before Megan came out, and pitch it, and someone be like, you know what, there's something here. I think it's cool. Let's go to AI horror film. Let's do that. We got Megan. But in the model with YouTube, you could pitch that on YouTube and it'll probably be suppressed to a degree, especially if it's a far bigger infrastructure that has all of Hollywood's resources behind it. Because again, now you're not dictating on some of a guy saying, hey, that's an interesting idea. I think I should put some money behind this, back it, and put it out there. You've got a computer program saying this idea has never been done before. There's no method with regards to whether it be successful or not. Ergo, we are not going to promote it.
I mean, that's a whole other discussion, but I've got the impression YouTube is in total control of what people are watching. You just don't know it.
To
I've
varying
seen
degrees,
that
absolutely. Like you
through
yourself have to
analytics.
actively have a curious mind to click or search for things that are not always recommended for you. And
Yeah, and it
how
takes
many
a
people
lot
don't
of effort.
do
It takes
that?
a lot of personal effort to find that.
Yeah,
You have
exactly.
to work
Yeah.
for hours to do it.
So I have a. Oh, sorry, Tom. Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to say, because Six sent me this, I didn't know if there was something, Six, you wanted me to bring up with the whole AI business before we moved past that. If you're here, I know you had stepped away earlier. She's
Was
still.
there something specific?
Yeah, was there anything specific you wanted to touch on before I take this off the screen? I know we talked about AI already like 20 minutes ago, but
Yeah, I think I sent it to you 20 minutes ago.
yeah.
No, it talks about how Disney's been basically, working on AI and implementing AI into their movies, and they have an interactive AI at the sinking ship. What was the name of that? What was the name of that cruise? It was like a 2 days for $3,000.
Galaxy Cruiser. Or whatever.
Are you talking about the Star Wars one or something different?
The Star Wars one.
Well, that was the Galaxy Cruise, yeah.
Galaxy Cruise, yeah. They had an interactive AI. So it was I thought it was an interesting read, and I thought you might want to see it.
Was it called something else besides that? I thought it was the Galaxy Star Cruiser.
Star
Cruiser,
yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
I should point out that Script mentioned that he was reluctant to name the organization, but he mentioned a large round headed with large round back ears. I'm prepared to name it. It's public domain.
Well, we got some super chats here, so let's get into those. Truth Hope Love says, I meant for that. Well, we got this one already for that British fight, wobbles and such. Yep. Or wombles. Randall Orser says, did you hear that the series of shorts on D+ for I Am Groot? Yeah, I saw the first season. I thought it was kind of cute. And I was like, this is what they need to do, like for Baby Yoda. Like, this was the right idea for this, because James Gunn knew that you're only going to get away with so much Baby Groot in the movies.
Yep.
So they were smart to do them, and they're just little shorts. There's like 6 or so of them, and then they're doing another season of them. I thought they were cute. I mean, they're like basically your typical Pixar short kind of thing. They're all CGI. I mean, I don't know if anybody else here saw them.
I think you made the point, but yeah, that's cool.
I've seen them.
I was waiting for anybody else to say, yeah, I saw them, I didn't like them, or yeah, I saw them.
No,
I
I
agree.
thought they were
I haven't
pretty
seen
good.
them, but I know that they're out there.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah, so yes, they got a second season of those. Truth Hope Love says, oh, Avenger Penguins is made by the same people who did Danger Mouse. Okay, and Count Duckula. I know those latter two, but I did not know Avenger Penguins.
Oh, wow. Love Danger Mouse.
Yeah, I know Danger Mouse. Yeah. And Count Duckula, especially. I was always mad because Count Duckula was only on USA, I think, back in the day, and we didn't have USA where I lived. So the only time I got to see it was when I was at my cousin's.
It was based on Count Floyd, you know, Count Duckula.
Yes, it was. Valentine's Tube says, Tom, my radio drama script sent you on X. Like them. Are you talking about the TMNT one that I just commented on here? Remember right? Or no, that was
That's
Josh
a different
Hammond.
person.
Okay, what did you send me, Valentine's Tube? Let me see here. Trying to remember. Is your name Valentine's Tube as well on X? I can't remember.
X.
I'm never going to get used to that.
Never call it last week.
So, yeah, if it was something you sent me last week, let me see here.
If you just look for his name, you should be able to find it and then go straight to the message icon. Then it should
80s forever.
80s forever.
Oh, 80s forever. That's right. Okay.
Tom gets a lot of messages, folks.
No, I remember now because we actually talked.
And yet he always responds to mine immediately. It's incredible
that.
I don't know about you guys, but he answers me straight away.
You are
Never
such a liar.
I get a 3-minute, a 3-hour window when he'll talk to me.
If you get a thumbs up from me, you're lucky.
Yeah, well,
6 is like 6 will say something and I don't answer her back for like 20 hours. And then she's like, "Are you dead?" No, I'm just kidding. You know, the only reason she doesn't do that is because she sees me on a stream. She's like, "Okay, he's still alive."
You've been vamping a long time to try and find this DM.
I'm not finding it, man. I'm sorry.
We were joking about that, right? It's like
X does not.
Bump it up
I'm
to
not
the
real
top
good
of
at
his
X.
messages, Valentine's too.
Yeah, send me a message, man.
Just send him
She
a-
knows what I'm talking about because I'm sitting here scrolling trying to find it.
if you want a vamp, I could play that audio clip again, and I'm guaranteed that Script would know what it was straight away. I'm going to play it.
Did our lawyer call you?
Yeah. I'm $10 is $10.
Oh, that's
a lot of money.
Rush, and that is Bob and Doug McKenzie on.
Well played, Script. Yes,
Oh,
you got it.
okay.
$10 is $10. Giddy Lee.
$10. Yeah, you can get
Bob
one
and Doug
member of Rush for
McKenzie.
$10.
Take off, eh?
Take off, Hoser.
I knew you'd get it. CC would have got it too.
It's been a long time since
Okay.
Well, I did a whole show on
Okay.
SCTV yesterday. So
Okay, so now DM me the tweet you were talking about, Valentine's Tube, so I know what to address. Are you talking about Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom? Is this what you're talking about? This transfer does not exist. So you have to send it again. Whatever it was, it did not come through.
Okay, here we go.
Corrine says, "Great job, Tom. Who knew you were talented?" I don't know what you're talking about, unless you're talking about that TMNT thing. And I'm not very talented.
Oh yeah, that animation.
Yeah, Mecha J says the more these actors talk about their own problems during the strike, the less sympathetic they come off, and they don't have much to begin with. Yeah, it's much like that Imagine video during the COVID times.
Oh yeah, that was stupid.
That was cringe.
Oh,
Gal Gadot started that.
Yeah, she
Yes,
did.
yes,
She needed to be something more known for, but outside of Wonder Woman, and it worked in the worst way.
Yeah. Awful.
Dira says a little girl had to wear a dress for 18 hours, Tom. You just don't know. Peter Weller, Fred Gwynn never had it so bad. You're right. You're so right.
Peter Weller better get paid every time someone streams RoboCop, man.
Well, come on, he didn't have to wear a dress. Did
Well,
he?
what he's talking about here is Rachel Ziegler, who got paid to wear that dress for 18 hours a day, was bitching about it again.
Yeah.
She
She got paid, and if someone keeps on reselling that to other people to watch, then she deserves to get paid too, just like everyone else that worked on that film.
That's
100%.
true, but man, she came off as very petty and snotty, and
I know,
with
is
that type of
nobody-
attitude,
Especially
she came off very
considering
entitled.
Considering she will get residuals, I'm sure. But anyway.
Oh, she will. There's no doubt about that. But she does here's the one thing. Even let's just pretend that she's right. If I can entertain that scenario. You're not going to change any minds going at people with that type of attitude.
No.
You're
I mean,
not
well,
going to get
a lot of
anyone's
YouTubers that
attention.
get demonetized say the exact same
Yeah.
thing.
Is nobody advising these people from the union about what to say? Because there are plenty of people that are suffering, as we were talking about earlier, craft and technical and actors that are just a contract or hourly paid or whatever, and she's out there talking about wearing a dress. Nobody advising them because that's just
They're
terrible.
publicists, and publicists are actually really terrible right now.
Terrible optics.
I can tell.
Come on. I mean, just doesn't win people to your side.
Yeah. Well,
That's
these
the
guys
thing,
can't
even-
afford a
even-
publicist right now.
Even if you don't, here's the thing. Even if like I was hearing something of the opposite argument, I would at least like to understand why they feel the way they do. But I can't even get that from someone like her. It's more of a just like I'm just gonna come off like an attack, and just when you see that type of mentality, you don't feel any inclined to listen, even if they're in the possibility that they might be right. I've even said before about certain people, I'm like, yeah, you can have a good argument, but if you come off antagonistic in any way, you're gonna shut down
But-
any potential listeners.
Well, she made it all about her. She made it all about her. Why didn't she say, and we're not just doing this for us that are well paid, it's for the actors that get $20 a day because they've done 5 minutes and that's all the work they're going to get in a week. They didn't. Why don't she made it about her?
Well, of course, she's like what, early 20s. This is what her third
That's it.
gig.
Yeah, that's what they do, man.
Well, that's what all
she doesn't have the
that's a-
experience.
It's not exclusive to her. That's been a lot of celebrities in the last 10 years where it's
Well,
about
that's the
me
name celebrities, the ones that
mentality.
you can actually point to, like Mark Ruffalo and Colin Farrell and all those guys, because they
Mhm.
they have a big enough platform where you're actually going to listen to them. The ones that are actually saying the sympathetic stuff, you probably be like, oh, I know where that guy's in, but you'll never know what their name is. You see
Mhm.
them in a ton of stuff as a
Yes,
character actor or
yeah.
something. And they're saying like, listen, yeah, like it's not just for me, it's also for all the other actors out there. It's also for the
That's
future
right.
character actors. How terrible would it be to find out that there's a character actor who can not only do a bunch of voices and a bunch of accents, but they're being digitally scanned, and now it's a computer doing that for them when they could do it better themselves anyways. Like then you got that aspect. You now lose the Kevin Pollacks, you lose the Paul Giamattis, you lose those guys from being able to add that flourish to a role that an AI would just never be able to predict, or something that would be greatly appreciated by a good director and production team. When the guy says, day player comes in, they got one line, they're like, okay kid, what do you got? And they do something amazing. You're like, great, this is perfect, you're totally going to steal your moment in that part. People are going to remember you. It's going to do wonders for the project that we're under. Thank God you did that. Where an AI would just come up with, yeah, he's just going to say the line.
I do agree with the AI issue. Even for snotty brats like Ziegler, I do agree that's bad, even for people like her, because once again, I don't have to like someone or their attitude. Because I could see that objectively, like, okay, yeah, that AI stuff, that is bad news, because you gotta look at it as well. Just because you don't like that person, that doesn't mean that can't happen to you. So I do see it from that sort of lenses. AI stuff, yeah, I understand that. That's a bad problem.
Yeah.
There needs to be actual negotiating, and that's got to be from both sides.
And there needs to be the connectivity of it again. Like Polly's in the chat, Latino Slant there, and he's absolutely right. Nobody goes into casting offices anymore. You don't get that relationship, that extra level of connection with talent to see what they can bring to the role. It's done through Zoom or self-tape.
That is a problem.
And it's so it's not the same.
It takes away the humanizing aspect. It takes away the humanizing aspect of it.
You're removing three senses, right? We have the five senses: taste, touch, smell, sight, and listening to. You're reducing it down to just I can see and I can hear. But sometimes you need to just kind of smell the room, and feel what's going on around with the talent. And you get that in a casting stuff. And then what they do is they then record it, because they're like, okay, well, this is how it looks on film. This is what we got from the energy in the room. Let's see how we can reconcile those two together when we look at the dailies of that. And then you make your casting decision. Instead, they don't even get that opportunity anymore.
Yeah,
and
there's a really neat reference in the Lincoln Lawyer.
How can you make them work the casting couch then?
They mentioned this subject in the Lincoln Lawyer in the last couple
That's
of
called
episodes.
camming.
Seeing Paulie's comment kind of reminds me of it's slightly related, but it's necessary. It just as a compare contrast. It's kind of like the whole no one goes out to ask someone on a date in person anymore. We've taped. Don't get me wrong. I love the internet for all the great things it's done, but it's also made people very unsociable, where they're afraid of being rejected for anything. And people, besides getting rejected for a date, You see people, they don't want to go to the dressing room, the rehearsal room to show what they're worth. And yeah, that takes away that bravery of saying, you know what, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to give this everything I got. If it doesn't work, I'm going to try again for the next role. We don't have that because everyone just relies on the internet. And you don't feel like you try as much when you can just do it all from your home. Don't get me wrong. I
Not
love doing
everybody,
things at
Nick.
home.
Not everybody. Mexican Iron Man turns up for dates in person. Whether
I know the
whether he's
greatest
asked
YouTuber
or not.
alive.
Whether he's asked to or not.
Alf's favorite YouTuber. Out there.
Truth, Hope, Love, who's basically sponsored this entire show by himself almost, says Dinklage ain't no Lorax for the little people. No, not at all. Went up that ladder and definitely kicked it out from underneath him. Jim Watari's been a member for 13 months, thank you, and sends in a $19.99 super chat. Says, wow, iOS is the only way to super chat right now. Really? PC, Windows, YouTube, super chat not working. Really? I seen some people were having some issues in the chat earlier on Mr. H's too. I wonder if there's something going on. I see there was a Windows update that wants to go on my computer.
I've had that issue. I just restart everything and it ends up, it's always solved that problem. Because I've had that with my desktop and my Android, and every time I can't super chat, I just shut it off, turn it back on, and it's all good.
Well, all I can say to that is, well, I would say something to that if I could get. Oh, here it is.
Oh, good for you.
Took me a while to find that in the stream deck.
I gotta drop out one of those.
Yeah, I gotta drop out, Tom. But thanks for having me, and thanks everybody in the chat for another great show and on the panel. What a wonderful panel! I don't know how you allow me on here with this great panel, but thank you anyway.
I don't know. For some reason, we forgot to lock the door.
Exactly. Yes. But my stomach is about to go on strike, so I'm gonna go get something to eat.
Well, we're gonna be wrapping up before too long here anyway. But thank you, Brian, for being here.
Yeah, see you guys later. See you on Toxic Tuesday, everybody. Bye.
Yeah. Cryam says, LOL, I actually agree with her on paper. She deserves every hour the movie gets streamed on Disney. So tell us how many hours. Now, what her conversion rate deserves to be is a different conversation. Yes. I would love some transparency from some of these numbers, but we'll never get them.
Yeah, I do agree.
Not until there's ads involved.
An issue. Transparency, we have a lack of it, and the streaming services, this is what happens when you rush straight into something. When everyone saw the whole lockdown, like, oh, everyone focused on streaming. No one take that, say, hold on, let's take a look at this and see if this is the right move. Now, because we went straight bulldozed into it, now we're dealing with another panicky type problem. This is what happens when you just react instantaneously rather than stop and assess the situation.
Mm-hmm. And then Eric Winberg says, works for me. I don't know. Does it? What works for you, Eric? But thank you for the $2.
He's talking about super chatting.
Oh, it does work. But if everybody wants to keep testing it, go right ahead.
Right. He will not turn that down.
I will not stop you from testing it just to make sure it's working.
If all 450 people sent you $1, Tom, you'd be $450 richer.
Thank you for modding, D-Bud Martin.
In fact, I put a challenge in the chat, and y'all still haven't come close to it. I said, if y'all give 400 likes, because there's 450 of you watching, we only have 250 likes. If I can get 400 likes, Sadie gets a treat. Y'all don't want Sadie to have a treat.
Sure, feed Sadie.
No, y'all don't.
She deserves it.
It's almost like saying you hate her or something. Come on, guys.
She does bark a lot.
She does. Commandant VHS says internet's killed the movie star. No mystery. Partially, I can see that.
Well, I mean, the thing is, internet should technically have built the movie star because it was such a great avenue to explore talent. But the studios just don't back the right people anymore.
Right. ActionCom says, why resist? Sell your souls. Go all Kasparov. Get with some computer engineers and help train an AI to write stories. Get a legacy out of it. Well,
you're then going to be competing against tons of different AI models. It's going to be it's going to be the Wild West in that regard.
Yeah. All right, but Paulie says, hey, I totally stand by the sentiment that Ziegler expressed to have to understand that in that profession, the next job is a guarantee where, yes, even Ziegler might not work for another fight. Then she needs a better job. And she needs something else to do besides acting, Paulie. I'm sorry.
A lot
I
of
am
actors
not
do
going
have
to feel
other jobs.
sorry for her.
I'm not gonna feel sorry for her.
Not in the
Nope.
fucking least. In fact, I found it to be very off-putting that she come out there and said it like that, considering
Yeah,
she's
but
bitching about a
guys,
job she already got.
Guys,
paid
how many
for.
people have we seen on YouTube that get demonetized that says the exact same thing about YouTube? It's a lot.
Huh? Say that.
It's 100% a lot.
Well, there's a big difference
it's
between what
the
Rachel
exact
Ziegler's
same-
making and somebody makes on YouTube. I'll tell you that right now, compared to the amount of fucking work that goes into it.
Well, Rachel
Because the
Ziegler,
person
she's
on
a new
YouTube is
actor.
doing all those things that you just mentioned earlier
Mhm.
and getting paid nickels for it.
Exactly. But Rachel Ziegler isn't getting paid millions of dollars for these films. She's maybe getting paid thousands of dollars for these films. She's not $1 million actress yet.
No, but she's still getting paid a lot better than most people do.
So?
And most actors, that's the thing. She's fucking
Yeah.
working now. So don't be
now.
like Billy Porter and put some money away.
Yeah, that's the thing. Exactly. Yes, put money away. If she doesn't put money away, she deserves everything that comes as a result of that. Of course, that's not a point of contention. The thing is that she may be off-putting in the way she says it, but I've lost count of how many people have said, "Oh, I've been demonetized by YouTube for this. My channel has been taken away or what have you," and they freak out, and they're justifiably so. And it's like, well, there's no difference. Someone is taking money away from the work that you're doing. That's
Well, the other
point.
side of it,
It
I
doesn't
see
matter
is
how
she's
much
sitting-
it is. It's the fact that that's the point.
Well, the other point I'm getting at is no, I don't see YouTubers saying some of the shit that she's saying.
I don't see the point, and here's why, Script, because a lot of it's based off of AI that is very shaky and gets a lot of things wrong. We all saw what happened with Geeks and Gamers. We see what happened with Many Page, where it's an accident and things happen wrongly, or there are very vague reasons. At least with this, with the strike thing, we know what's going on. We know exactly what's going on. Whereas a lot of the demonetizations, they are very open-ended.
But the point is that it's work that's being put out, and it should be making money for the people that made it, but it's not. That's the point. It doesn't matter how much. It doesn't matter the circumstances of why it's being demonetized or not. It's the fact that, oh, I have put out work, which is then being marketed scalable to other people for them to create revenue, and I am no longer getting that. That's wrong. That's the point. Everything else that you're saying is really just splitting hairs with regards to the fact that, oh, it's an accident by an algorithm. Oh, it's the studio is just wanting to save money. No, that's not the point. The point is that the deal that was entered into is that I make something on YouTube or I make something for a studio, and if it gets distributed and it's being supported by ads, the deal is that I get some of that. And if you're trying to say I don't deserve that, then you're breaking the rules of that deal. Is that not the case?
I think I'm not fully understanding your comment. Maybe I'm overthinking it.
Or maybe your people are looking at the final product with regards to the money being brought in, as opposed to the fact that it's work being distributed and not being paid for.
Well, and I'm coming at it from the angle of she already got paid. She will definitely get paid for her residuals.
She got paid once.
The point is, she's high enough on the list in the acting that she will get paid residuals. So I don't know what the fuck she's bitching about. Like it's not like she's not going to get paid like extra number 72 isn't, right? Like that's the big difference here that I'm talking about.
So you're looking more at the money side of things as opposed to the fact that the principle is that they're trying to take away or not actually do the payment of those residuals.
To her or to other people? She's not talking about other people. She's talking about herself, right? She's talking about all this shit. Like, no, her words were basically, and I'm paraphrasing, but these are almost exactly what she said. I'm making the studio millions of dollars.
Yes.
When? I'd like to know when she had made a studio millions of dollars. Because that's the question here, is that I see a lot of actors who are acting just as fucking ignorant as some other people are when it comes to this matter, because they're not in the industry. But I also see actors on the other side of this going, where's my money? Just like, where's my internet money? All those people were saying years ago. It's like, what fucking money? That's the whole thing. They're getting paid already for a job done. But if you're wanting more money for something that isn't getting in, they ain't getting income for, like they're not even understanding how much of a loss leader things like Disney Plus and shit are, right? Like these movies actually have to make money. None of these movies have made money. They've already lost over $1 billion this year. They've spent over $1 billion. They just did a Forbes article about it.
Yeah. But the thing is,
like, that's the thing is these actors aren't thinking about
talking for just a sec, Tom. I was going to make a point, a very valid one, and I'm sorry to interrupt you on that, but is the fact of the matter is that one of the big points of contention is that there's zero transparency when it comes to streaming numbers, revenues, and where they're doing their secondary markets internationally for it. Like, that's the thing. And if the studios are saying, yes, we're not making any money, but we know that's a lie, because again, the way that they're spending the money and the way that they're rewarding some of the members of the board would suggest, well, where is that money coming from if they're not making money from streaming?
I earn the music industry at least 6 figures a year. I mean, 100,000 is conservative. I see zero of it. They don't care. I mean, they care. They're glad to have me, which is why I'm still here.
This sounds, the more I hear from script, it sounds like this whole machine is just way too monolithic, and there's way too many people there involved that don't need to be. And I'm talking about like middlemen who absolutely serve no purpose, and there's no demand for their position. If you really want to pay some of these people, tell me if there's something to that, but it feels like there's way too many heads involved. And it sounds like with the amount of heads involved, it sounds like this whole industry is super rigged. It sounds super massively rigged. It's big
loaded.
Big
I would
wigs.
say it's loaded. Like, for instance, I
yes,
could say
bloated.
that,
I agree
a guy
on too.
So Tom's got a successful channel, over 30,000 subscribers on your channel. You are definitely making thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars for YouTube, but you're getting a sliver of that. And then all of a sudden, what happens if they demonetize you and you're still making content? They're still making those thousands of dollars, and you're just like, well, where's my money? And
in most cases, I'm on your content, or they make a new channel. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
I'm not arguing.
You're monetized because you make them more money for being monetized.
Yes, and I think that this individual here makes the point better than what I was trying to say, or they're saying what I was trying to say in a better way, quicker. So it starts off with Ziegler's comments, and then here's this is interesting though that they're making a point here. And they're saying it better than I could.
I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess. I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
Ma'am, it is not like you were Tom Cruise risking your life in every film doing these stunts. It is not like you are Stallone doing Rambo. It's not like you are Jim Caviezel on The Passion of Christ and had your shoulder dislocated and lightning strike you and almost died. I agree people should be paid for their work, and I'm not trying to dunk on the residual structure, but if you're trying to inspire sympathy for millions of people who have to go out there every day and grind on their feet, not doing luxurious things like being in a princess dress, some people working double shifts and etc. It's just not going to happen. I mean, I'd be more concerned whether or not people want to see your film at all, especially with you ragging on the.
I'm going to stand there 18
That's what I'm getting at. I'm not saying that she shouldn't get paid for work. She already did, and she will get paid her residuals. I'm not saying that either. I'm saying what she chose to go out here and say is not helping her case. She's not going out there and talking about other actors and individuals. It's all about me, I. And this lady is making my point exactly.
Well, she was trying to compare standing in a dress to all those other roles that men have done. And it's like, yes, it is literally the same thing. It may have different requirements, but it is the same thing. It is their work that they have put into being distributed and them not getting residuals for it. Doesn't matter how much
you're still looking at it from you're not even getting my point. Like, she's not fucking Sylvester Stallone. That's my goddamn point.
It doesn't matter. That's the point.
I'd argue that it
paid to do something, and it's being distributed, and they are entitled to a residual.
She even made that point in there. My point is you're missing my entire fucking point. Script has nothing to do with the residuals, nothing to do with any of that. My point is if you want sympathy from people, that's what I'm talking about. This story is not the one to be bringing out there, not to be going out there. I had to stand in a fucking princess dress for 18 hours a day. No, the thing you should go out there and say, look, there are people that have to do my hair, do my makeup, make sure I look good in that dress. They all deserve to be paid, and so do I. That's the better way to say something like that. You're not getting any sympathy by saying, I got to stand out there and look pretty for 18 hours. Now, that is what this lady is saying. Now, Tom Cruise, if he were to come out and say, look, I do my fucking job. I do these stunts where I put my life on the line, whatever, blah, blah, blah. He has a right to say that because he's actually doing something for these movies that is braggable, okay, for a lack of better fucking term. Okay, her standing in a fucking dress all day is not something that's going to gain sympathy from me, especially from some waitress making next to fucking nothing. Do you think she's really going to give a fuck what Rachel Ziegler has to say about that? No. So they're not getting the public side on this. That's what I'm saying. The public is not on their side. They don't give a fuck. That's what I'm saying. And Ziggler is not
I
helping
think
the
that's
situation.
absolutely fair. But the other part too is that what your point is, and you make a valid one, which is, if they're not going to get paid, then they should get a better job. And you just said, well, the waitress that's making barely nothing, why don't they get a better job? And it's like, that's not how it works, unfortunately, right?
Well, a lot of actors work while they're working, right? Like that's the whole point. I don't see those actors out on the line. Why? Because they're fucking working.
Well, I mean, a lot of them actually aren't right now because those restaurants and jobs, they're not making any money because nobody's
true.
taking them
They're hurting
because
as well. You're not
There's
wrong.
nobody to hire them anymore. It's a very symbiotic relationship in California. Unfortunately, they've made it. They put all their legs in one basket. But the fact of the matter is that it doesn't matter if you're standing in a dress. It doesn't matter if you're jumping out of a plane or anything of that nature. The work is the work.
I look at acting just like if you're a sports person. You're worth what you're worth at the end of the day, and you shouldn't be fucking griping about it because you get to do what kids wish and dream they could do when they grow up. Okay, so like I have very little room for sympathy for them. I'm not arguing the point. Yes, you deserve the residuals, and yes, there needs to be more transparency. That's something I've said from a long time. We agree on that. My point is right now in the public eye, they are not getting the public on their side because you don't have people out here saying the shit that is going to get people on their side. Like you guys, the writers should be writing shit for them to say, but you can't.
That's true. We cannot. As much as I'd like to, we cannot. But sadly, I got to go. I got
Nick does too. Nick did too. He had to run because he's got his show coming up here. But go ahead, script and sign yourself out because we're gonna get going here anyway. So
so tomorrow.
Another super chat here.
Speaking of writers, I have a Patreon post debuting tomorrow morning explaining why Taylor Sheridan is probably not that great of a writer, and why, and how you as a writer could actually take his show and use what he does and the mistakes he makes to improve your writing and make yourself more competitive. So look forward to that tomorrow morning. But and then I'll catch you guys, of course, later tomorrow, hopefully, if everything works out.
Gonzalo Bergali says, was streaming Hollywood's FOMO? You mean as far as like they all had to start their own streaming service? I kind of, but in a sense that they saw Netflix making all this money and they're like, we need to do that, without thinking of the reason that Netflix was making all this money is because, you know, there's only one Netflix. Yeah. If you got 10 of those, you got to spread that buck around.
There really is only one Netflix, though. There's always that first one that becomes the product. Everybody else always chases it.
I hate advocating for any type of monopoly, right? But I made the best argument for the streaming services, and that was that Netflix, the whole thing was kind of like a format war. And the studio should have looked at Netflix like a format instead of looking at it like a streaming service. In a sense that if we all get this, it's like us all doing our own format at the same time. That's really what ended up happening. And in that sense, you're not going to be able to expect everybody to have everybody's service at the same time. So exactly what everybody predicted on our side of the fence was going to happen, happened. And that is people stuck with one being Netflix or Disney Plus, and then they would hop around to the rest as need be for their entertainment needs. So 1 month they would have HBO Max, the next month they would have Peacock, and so on, and Apple the next month after that, if they even wanted it. So yeah, that's I guess FOMO is one way of putting it. And yes, don't forget Toxic Tuesday starts in a little bit here. The stream will send you over there from here, so you can watch that. But yeah, let's get on out of here. CC, what you got coming up?
Friday night karaoke, as always. That's it. Probably catch Tom Connor singing there, and sometimes other people as well. We had Culture Casino singing last week,
and he does costume changes.
Of that. Yeah, he's got a whole wardrobe.
When Culture's on there, it's a whole show. It's a whole show in himself, like.
Pretty much, yeah. He's an entertainer. You know.
I wonder if we shouldn't do a couple other nights a week, CC. We also
I'm up for it. We just gotta actually like organize it. You know, get a set together, and I did. You know what? People love to see us just rocking out and having fun. People love to see us having fun. I've noticed that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we
let's do it.
we do try to have fun. That's for sure.
We-
That's what it's all
Last
about.
week was great. Yeah, it was awesome.
Klobby, what you got going on? I'm gonna go grab Sadie a treat while you're telling everybody
No
what you got
problem.
coming in.
Oh, well, thanks for having me, buddy. It's good to be here tonight. Let's see. Tomorrow night, Loki and the gang, I think we're still having our comic book roundtable on the Great Stone Loki's channel, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And after that, I'll have my Wild Card Wednesday night, which all my shows that I do throughout the week are 9 p.m. Central. It'll be celebrating continuing Jack Kirby month, celebrating the King of Comics. Tomorrow night, we're talking about Kirby Fantastic Four villains and things like that, and other things, FF and Kirby. And then, of course, the big clubhouse with Raquel and Mark Thursday night, and then Saturday night Star Trek, and that's pretty much it. Except for I'll hang out with Nick and the gang on Friday night as well for the comic shop group.
Awesome sauce. All
Look
right.
at the puppy dog.
Sadie got her
Hey.
treats because you guys got us to 400 likes. Thank you so
Aw.
much. She appreciates that.
Oh, puppy.
Sticks, anything else you got going on that we need to plug?
Nope, I got nothing.
All right. Well, I don't know if I'll be joining Nick on Toxic Tuesday because, believe it or not, I've never seen Hard Target, or at least if I
Me
have, I
either.
don't remember it.
There's two
And
of us.
I have it. I just haven't watched it yet.
You
So,
have it. Always
yeah,
like
I
that.
bought
You
the-
have movies that you never even seen yet.
oh, dude, I have more movies than I never. I probably have more movies now that I haven't seen than I have seen.
What do you do? You just get it. You know, maybe I'll watch it one night. Boop.
Well, that and like I buy them on sales and other
yeah.
shit, and just yeah.
There you go. Excellent.
There you go. So, all right, kids, take care of yourselves and each other, and until next time.
I got molested in the little boy's room.
Friends, if you're looking for real old school laughs, you're in for a treat because we've got them right here. Flip City Magazine. Remember Mad Magazine? Then it went woke? Well, don't worry. Flip City has no chance of going woke. That's right. 4 times a year, you'll get an actual printed magazine full of jokes, stories, comics, and more, all about today's pop culture, entertainment, and woke politics. Flip City takes terrible entertainment trends we love to hate with hilarious parodies of Lord of the Rings, Stranger Things, The Walking Dead, Star Trek, Hunters, and more. Trust me when I say there is nothing else like Flip City on the market. So subscribe today. It will be delivered in print, or you can even get it digitally if you're one of those wacky Zoomers. Either way, follow our link and sign up today, and if you put in midnight, you get an extra 10% off. Check out Flip City Magazine.